Grindhouse, what's up everybody? I'm back! Let's do this! No invisible walls here, baby!
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything.
I came looking for booty.
Booty!
It's getting late. Got a parade to go to. And I've yet to see a sign of this supposed Philness doll.
Relax. It's been erased. Game over. Game over.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Put that cookie down! Now!
Yes, I would like to have a refund. Yes, I would like to have a refund.
It's turbo time. It's turbo time. You just made the list!
I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack.
Who are you?
We got plenty of Turbo Man's
And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
Means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do there. We haven't done our best work.
Sir, do we get the win this time?
And may the sports be with you.
If you're lying to me, I'll be back.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything.
Turn 10 and how we started Forza. And they've turned into a great racing studio that does an amazing job. And I know it takes a little bit longer, and maybe people like the quick, hey, why don't you just go buy this studio and bring them in? And we're completely open to that. Microsoft has the money. I have the green light, so to speak, in your turn.
Game over.
And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
I came looking for booty.
Don't aftermath. When I hate, I attack.
It's Mega Man. Just gone from suck to blow.
Yes, I would like to have a refund.
And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
I think it's time we tried something new.
I don't play this game.
What's up, grinders? We're back in the building. There it is, everybody. We are here. Yo, what's up, Frogs? How you doing? Yo, it's been a time. My goodness,
Man,
the grind table is open. Yep. Man, oh man, I don't even know like half the stuff, man. Gamescom happened, so yeah. So everybody, well, I was on vacation. They were doing some renovations to the house. The Grind's house had some renovations. We had to put on another addendum for all the new grinders coming on here. The VIP club is huge right now. So we had some additions added onto the Grindhouse. We had the pool house a couple years ago. We have added now a bigger club for more VIP grinders. And I had to leave while they did these renovations. So I went on vacation, and I came back, and my house was still in disarray. I didn't even know if I could do the show because the fumes from the wood staining were vaporizing the Grind's house. But I've been fanning it all day, and I think it's clear. So the Grind's house renovations continue as we're doing that. But my goodness, they added indoor plumbing to the Grindhouse. That's right, Geo That's what they did. Let's get to the Grinders, Frog. Let me shout out these, and then we'll get to what you've been up to, and then we'll get into that stuff. But let me shout out to everybody who's been waiting in here. We're doing a little earlier tonight because there's a lot to talk about, and it's been a minute. It's been a week. It's been crazy. I feel like it's crazy. The Claymores, what's up? Robert Lawrence, Sergeant. X-Hawk is here. Oh my goodness. He knew something big was going on here. He came in here. Yo, what's up, X-Hawk? How you doing? How's your buddy True Virgil? He's probably around here somewhere too. Weezard, what's up? BU, how you doing? Weezard VIP Grinder. Claymore's VIP Grinder. Robert Lawrence, I said him. Weezard, what's up? Sergeant Gamer of Light, how you doing? Neil, the Claymores, Bill, Jeff B Gaming. X-Hawk was getting crazy. For Brizzle, what's up for Brizzle? VIP Grinder in the house. How you doing, man? True Virgil, there he is. I missed you, man. Polish them up, man. Polish them up. What's up? How you doing? Geo knows what's up. VIP Grinder, Mod, Gamer of Light, said you, Ray. Let's go. Josh Ez, how you doing? Dylan Rafferty, LM, Virtual Dan, Taran, Ant Methods, Outside Gaming Night, Outsider. How you doing, everybody? Diablo Dark Matter, what's up, VIP Grinder? Put the cookies down. Econo, VIP Grinder. Amanda Pemberton, VIP. Spider-Man 2 in the house. Freddy, what's up? Oh, man, yes, LM, we will be talking about the PS Portal or the Q-Tip, whatever you want to call it. Dad of War, how you doing? Let's see if I got mostly everybody here if I get here. Let's get down to the Hemi G, what's up? Soldier for Life, how you doing? 8K, do sensible. Yo, what's up, man? I saw you with your tweets, man, going around on those Twitter streets or the X streets, whatever the hell they call them. The VIP, Gaming Night, the VIP club member was lost. Well, come on in. Get back into the VIP clubs. Phil looked rough, man. Don't worry. What's up, Demasi, Virtual Dan, Ron M? What's up? Oh, Robert Lawrence. He made sure that the VIPs are getting in the club. That's right. Thank you, Robert Lawrence, for 5 memberships. got leaked. She got gaming night. Outside gaming night is back in the Grindhouse. He's chilling. He's partying with goddamn Herman Holtz.
Take a look at this. Brutus, this is incredible.
Log Hog got the VIP membership. Shout out to you. Me first, please. He's back on the boards. Thank you again, Robert Lawrence. What's up, Sam Ash? How you doing? Oh, my goodness. But, Frogs, what have you been up to, man? How you been doing?
And
shout-outs, man.
I've
Grindhouse
mostly been
You just
long
made the
summers,
list.
but long summers are kind of over. It's gotten more to hurricane season.
Yeah, be careful, dude. That one's coming to you. What is that, Danielle?
Yeah, well, it's not supposed to hit us. It's
You
supposed
just
to hit
made the
above
list.
us. So we're gonna see. Right now, I'm getting light rain. You know, the Tampa area, we're getting light to heavy rain. It's really dark. It looks like it's nighttime.
Oh, man.
You just made the
God
list.
is been blessing us, man. Because I told my wife, the minute that we get a hurricane and it destroys, tears stuff up, I'm not staying here.
Come New Jersey.
Yeah, hey, I go.
You just made the
Wouldn't
list.
mind that. It's expensive, but shoot, the way Florida is now, man, everything's expensive. But no, I've been watching, all the shows, been having a good time just playing games.
You just made the list.
Funny story. I don't know if you guys know. Still waiting on my PS4. I'm sorry, my PS5. My Spider-Man one. So I get that on the 1st.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I get my
So
control
I'm
on the
playing
first.
So
my
check
pen.
this out. I'm playing on the PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
And as crazy as it sounds, this thing is horrible.
Yeah, you said. when I left
thing
you,
is hard.
they might think
Dude,
that's
man,
the hurricane coming in, blowing your windows
Oh my
out.
God, man. Like, I'm playing Call of Duty, and all my friends have PS5s, and everybody's in the game running around getting kills, and I'm still loading in. So if anybody thinks this generation hasn't progressively done anything better, it has. Like, oh my God, I'm going to say that. So, in other news, you're going to laugh at this.
Uh-oh.
Y'all going to think, I'm like, uh-oh, Phil got frog.
Uh-oh.
In other news, I'll have my Xbox Series X tomorrow.
What? You bought another one?
No. Remember, I
the
gave it
one
to
you
my
gave
nephew.
away. He wants to give it
Hold
back
on,
to you. Hot potato.
Like, so check this out. So I hit my nephew up. I'm like, hey, StarField's coming out. Can I borrow the Xbox if you're not playing it or not? He's like, I haven't turned that thing on in a month and a half. A month and a half. And he's a Xbox guy, but his problem is, and you said, there's not enough exclusives that
he wasn't playing Redfall with the 2 other people.
No, I got Redfall, and he said this game is horrible.
Even the devs' parents stopped playing it.
He wasn't into Hi-Fi Rush. He wasn't into it. Just not his type of game.
You mean the game of the year? They're not into it. That should have been lasting all year. That game.
The game he's really looking forward to is gonna be Forza. And we talked about it, and he's a big Forza fan. That's his thing.
Yeah, but Forza doesn't look like. We'll talk about Forza.
He's a little disappointed in some of the things he heard, and he doesn't like motorsport. He likes the Forza Horizon series.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't think he's gonna like this. But what I'll say is,
not. You mean Forza not at launch edition? That's the one you're talking about.
I'm gonna have a Series X playing StarField way before I will be playing. So I found out that I get my Spider-Man PS5. The problem is you can't play Spider-Man until day it comes out. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that.
Yeah.
But at least I have the console.
You got to trade in. After you finish StarField, trade in that X and get a goddamn VS VR2.
So you know what I'm thinking about doing? Well,
I need somebody to go fly Team Ultra, dude. I'm gonna get that game. I'm gonna play that.
StarField's my type of game. I like Bethesda type games, right? I like RPGs like that.
All right.
What I'm thinking about doing for my nephew is, because he wants a PS5 really bad. He really wants a PS5. I'm thinking about, if StarField just doesn't catch me the way it's supposed to, I might just trade the Series X in and get a PS5 and give it to him. At this point, StarField is the one game that I would say is gonna break it for me. It really is. Like,
you've been seeing the leaks,
I just feel, I just feel at this point it has to really capture me. I'm really into Bethesda type RPGs, but damn, I don't want to really listen to and I don't want to call names out. I'm just gonna say I don't want to listen to people who aren't fans of Bethesda type games. I don't want to listen to influencers because they're gonna say good things about the games, and they probably never beat a Fallout. They probably never beat an Elder Scrolls game. I don't want to listen to those type of people. I want people who genuinely like Bethesda RPGs to talk about the game.
We'll talk about that because there's definitely some influencer psychology going on with the way the StarField's been handled right now. I think it's we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna have a conversation about Sony stuff too because there's some goods and some bads. There's some goods and bads.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have that on there. But but yeah, otherwise, yeah, no. So Gamescom happened, and then I saw, there was a lot of interviews, and I didn't watch a lot of the interviews because I'm just like sort of like.
I did. I watched the Phil Spencer ones particularly because he lied a lot.
Like with the Dustin Liguri one.
I watched him lying. Yeah, I watched him and Dustin, and it really his interview disappointed me because Dustin asked him the hard questions. Phil Spencer danced around.
I got a couple of clips. I got Philness clips from him. Yeah, well,
that really disappointed me.
That's the third topic.
People like Paris, but this man really answered questions. He didn't. What he basically told you is that parity clause is going to be gone, and guess what? You'll be able to play, and we're going to drop the S eventually. That's what he should have said.
I'm telling you, I already laid out the plan of what they're going to do. Their PR marketing. We'll get to it with Philness at Gamescom. But otherwise, like, I don't think I missed some craziness. But I was following it. I bookmarked a bunch of stuff. So if there's anything on this list that you guys want to talk about in the chat or anything like that, bring it up. I just try to put down the main things because I know we're going to talk a lot about these things here. I just saw the announcement now about Tokyo Game Show. Sony's going to be there, but again. These shows are nothing's like E3 anymore. Like they're gonna show some clips here or there. It's nothing
E3
to hold
is dead, and we need to be able to say, okay, E3 is dead, and that's it.
Yeah,
like E3 is dead.
We just gotta wait and see if Sony does a showcase, which I don't know, if they're gonna do, but that Spider-Man shit's gonna.
All Sony showcase is gonna be in September. I still think they're doing a showcase.
They got it.
September. I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're gonna do one definitely for a Spider-Man push. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, I think we need a showcase.
Yeah, I agree.
There's too much to not. There's too much that Sony needs answers for that needs to be said.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely they're gonna do something. With that. But I did see something here that Zuby Tech. Shout out to Zuby. Astrobot trademark was renewed. So obviously, hopefully they do something with Astrobot. They haven't done anything since launch of the PlayStation. So
I would love to see another Astrobot game.
I think they got to do the Astrobot VR, man. That was like one of the best VR games that they had. I thought, but yeah, it just got, here it is right here. Where's my display? Yeah. But that just came up. So they just registered the Astrobot IP shot. Zuby Tech, Team Asobi, developing a 3D action game. Highly likely Astrobot game has been greenlit. So hopefully they do it. I definitely think that there was a lot of promise with that game. They make some really good games, and I think it's probably some kind of VR because that team made some incredible VR games.
And you know what? This is what I will say also. I know we're going to talk about this, but I tweeted, well, I X'd, or whatever it's called, and I said that I do think, in my opinion, this is one of the best years in gaming. This is absolutely, there's so many good games coming out almost on a weekly basis that I don't have enough money to really buy. I mean, we just got another game like yesterday? The what's it called? Man, it's on my wish list. What I'm basically saying is this is one of the best years I've seen in a long time in gaming. Really a long time.
No, it's been great, dude. It's been. What's funny? There's a lot of surprise stuff. A lot of stuff that people never really realized was coming out.
Yes.
And then it showed up, and it was like, whoa, this became popular. And it just, what it does show? It shows that the industry is not really able to read. They're reading what's going on in the Twitter streets and stuff, and following that kind of dialect rather than really focusing on the games themselves. I think it's more about the narratives, the bullshit that's on Twitter, the people that what they're falsely hyping up, what they're capping for, and the media seems to be just pulling their articles, their headlines, all their stuff from that what Twitter's excited about, and then all of a sudden these games show up and they go bonkers. Like even Baldur's Gate, for a sense. Like everybody hyped up Diablo due to the Activision and Diablo, you know, but it was tied to the Activision Microsoft deal, and it's amazing how Diablo kind of the legs of it again. Like Baldur's Gate just came in. It was like poof. You know, and it was a runaway success. And, you know, and what's interesting is that Baldur's Gate, even when it was announced at the Sony showcase, wasn't really something that was on everybody's list. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, Baldur's Gate's coming out.
It wasn't. And I tell you, I think that this is one of those things. This is like, this year is just showing me that, excuse me. I personally think this year is showing us that what we're going to get next year is going to be, I think this year is amazing. I think next year is going to be the biggest year of gaming. I do think it's going to be the biggest. I think we'll see, because you got to look at what's happened this year, Jazz. Games have come out and we kind of knew about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
We kind of said, hey, well, I know about, you know, this whole Hogwarts game. Nobody expected this Hogwarts game to be as huge as it is, right? Then you got freaking, like you said, Baldur's Gate came out, and everybody's like, whoa, we didn't expect this. A lot of people didn't expect it. You know, Baldur's Gate, nobody expected Baldur's Gate to do what it's doing, right? And it hasn't, and the crazy thing, it hasn't even released, you know, on console yet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many games that when you sit back and you look, you know, that are still to come out, they still have yet to come out. I think this year is one of those years. It's like, this is a toss-up of what game in your opinion is the best game of the year, so forth. But then it's also a toss-up because you have games coming out that you like, I wasn't betting on this game scoring well. I mean, we got freaking Armored Core. Who knew Armored Core was going to score, you know, so well?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we could have said, oh, you know, it's from software, but that's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
In Armor Scores, I mean, I didn't get it yet. Like I said, there's too many games to get this year. It's a good thing when there's too many games to get because you can kind of sit back and say, well, you know what? Now I have something to come to. And here's the other, and here's the bigger thing. Nobody's talking about this. And I think it's one of those things. Whether you're on PlayStation, whether you're on Xbox, whether you're on Switch, whether you're on PC, lots of games are coming out. Switch is doing a lot of their reboots, right? Of their kind of remakes of games, right?
Yeah.
Sony's kind of doing that. Microsoft, and it's not talking ill, Microsoft has games that have come out that are all now coming to PlayStation. And nobody's talking about, hey, and High on Life is on PlayStation now. The game with the freaking dick skin with the guns is coming to PlayStation now. These were games. Scoring. These are games that were exclusive that everybody said it's only coming on Xbox. And I kind of, and this is what I always say. Certain games you can look at and say, this may come somewhere else. You know, but then there's certain games you can say, this is probably going to stay in this. Final Fantasy VII is probably going to stay on PlayStation until they just release all of them. And
yeah,
then
LM says that Super Mario RPG remake hasn't even come out yet. And even that new Mario game too in October.
And that's what I'm saying. We got to understand there are big major games getting ready to come out that you can't just look at Baldur's Gate and say Game of the Year. You can't just look at StarField and say Game of the Year. You can't just look at Zelda and say Game of the Year. That Mario RPG hasn't come out. You got freaking there's so many games that come out. We don't really know at this point. You can't take. I don't really think by the time the Game Awards come, you're gonna be able to really say here's. I would say right now, if you had to pull 5 games without what you know coming, you still be like, wait, Spider-Man still has to come, Mario RPG, Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
Like we don't.
But you know,
really,
they do like 6 of them in the Game Awards. They do the 6 of them. I'm gonna tell you, whatever it is, and everybody like, I'm gonna jump StarField reviews and stuff, but I'm just gonna mention here, it's gonna get nominated for Game of the Year just for the fact of what it means.
It is.
And you know,
no matter what.
No matter what. And we'll talk about the reviews and stuff, but what I wanted to do, Twisted Sick and Ray's leading into the StarField one. He goes, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Todd.
Number one customer.
There's some good and bad about StarField.
We can talk
about when we get to it.
Yeah, we will. I'll give you right here, Twisted.
You have me right. Con men Thieves, degenerates, lowlifes, thugs, criminals!
Yes.
I don't have access to the game early, right? I plan to just buy the game. I do like Bethesda stuff, and I've made it clear to a lot of people who are fanboys, not the real gamers on Xbox, the fanboys, that you guys and girls don't even really care about Bethesda games. Most of you,
Dude, there's so
and I won't name names.
please.
I won't name names. And what I'm gonna say, this is what I'm gonna say. 9 times out of 10, the people that are on this community that we talk to in the Twitter space, they got review codes because they have connections to certain affiliations of certain lords, and they've got most of those people who have certain affiliations to.
We'll talk about the reviews. We'll get to the way they're handling that thing.
They don't even like these type of games, and I don't trust anything they say at all.
No, I got you. But first, before we get into the Philness awards and all that other stuff, let's talk a little bit about this the PlayStation announcement that they made on the 23rd about the trifecta of equipment. One being the PlayStation Portal, which was the PlayStation Q-tip. The
day one.
That's
a day one.
And then the earbuds, which I know Frog is getting the earbuds on a day one.
That's a day one.
And I'm interested in these Pulse Elites. Definitely. Headset. I think that's a good price for those. $150 of plain odd drivers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say, and I agree with you, Jazz. I honestly say these. Like that the earbuds are going to my wife because me and my wife probably a year and a half ago we wrote a message to PlayStation and we asked them, hey, have you ever thought we did. Have you ever thought about designing earbuds for people who don't like headsets? I told them my wife does not like headsets. She has a whole problem with equilibrium, and headset throws her off. And I said it would be great if you could design earbuds. I said because the only avenue we had to go buy, I think it was Oculus or one of those. They had headphones. So my whole thing is. We just when they announced this, my wife was like, "Oh my God, babe, they're doing earbuds. I gotta have them."
Brian says they'll be great with the VR. That's right, VR 2, the earbuds definitely. But
here's the bigger thing. Headset. Here's the bigger thing people aren't thinking about with these earbuds. You cannot just use these earbuds for gaming. You can use it as your everyday earbud for your phone.
And I got the Sony W5s, like M5s.
Yeah,
these
are everyday earbuds you can use. So you can use them on your phone. You can use them in gaming.
Are they 200? They're 200, right?
They're 200. They're $199, which that price is a little confusing.
Yeah,
because
they don't
I
have
thought
noise
the
cancel,
149.
I don't think either. But the noise isolation will be earbuds.
Right, and so the earbuds are day one. The PlayStation Portals are day one. The headset
you're interested in that PlayStation Portal? I think it's a good price. $199 for it. And you were right about it because I was saying it was going to be $300 because the Elite controller, and you said $200, and you were right on that.
The price I said it can't
be
more than Elite controller, and I said this, and you know what? Shout out to Black Bond on Weapon Wheel. He said something that made so much sense. And he's not like one of those guys. He's like, this is not for him, but he said something that made so much sense. If he had to choose between a PlayStation Elite controller and this, he would rather get this because this has a whole screen on it for the price. And he's, versus the Elite controller. And I totally agree with that. Like, I do think that there's a lot of things that, and Sony needs to clarify because a lot of people who can't read weren't really sure what this thing could do. Yeah. A lot of people who can't read.
And I think it would have been really cool if there was some way to use it in tandem. Since it is an accessory to your PlayStation 5, use it as a second screen, like Madden choosing plays on it. Doing using the touch screen to kind of put commands. Like, I know they tried something like this back in the early with like the second screen with the PSP and even the Xbox with their kind of theirs.
But Jess, you know what everybody's whining about, and I saw a lot of this. Oh, it doesn't have Bluetooth. I can't use my Bluetooth headset on it. I can't, and I don't think people are thinking about this, right? They're like, oh, you got the PlayStation Link, you got to use because Sony was like, hey, you got PlayStation,
the new connection.
Yeah, if you got the PlayStation Portal, you can use these new headsets. They have this device, this whole thing in their PlayStation Link, I think it's called. Or whatever, Sony Link or something like that. And everybody's like, oh, why can't I use Bluetooth? Why can't I? do people not realize that you can't actually use a Bluetooth headset on your PS5 at all? You cannot. It's always a dongle.
Yep.
So you can't
For the low
actually use a
latency,
Bluetooth
they're not
headset.
going to put Bluetooth on it.
And
you know the
and
latency
my
that you
whole
would
thing
get
is-
if you use a streaming with Bluetooth, you're probably going to
Yes.
get latency on the thing. But
you know how bad it
but
would
the thing
and
is
people aren't thinking about this though.
I
Jez.
know,
People
but
are like I can't use the Bluetooth. I'm like, it would have been cool to add a Bluetooth feature, but the fact of the matter is,
But it
you
only
can.
does
Sony,
that.
the PlayStation 5, you can't actually use a Bluetooth headset. It always has to have a dongle plugged into a PS5.
Yeah.
You can't actually use a regular Bluetooth headset
No, you got to go
on
buy
a
one.
PS5.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here? Like, this is Sony's been
It does
doing
have
this
a
for a
headphone
while.
jack. You can plug headphones directly
Right.
into it.
And my whole thing is, people are like, I got a Pulse headset. Well, guess what? Plug your Pulse headset into it.
Yeah.
Well, I got this headset. Well, plug that headset into it. Yeah, it doesn't have Bluetooth. Neither does the PS5. Y'all didn't complain about the PS5 having a Bluetooth. Not
Yeah,
having
you can't
Bluetooth.
just use your Sony headphones, any Bluetooth stuff. You got to buy.
But see, people aren't thinking about that, Jazz. People are bringing this up. Why doesn't it have Bluetooth? You can't. If you own a PS5, you should know you can't use a Bluetooth headset on your PS5 without a dongle. And there's no place to plug anything into this. Come on, like I mean, what are we thinking about? $199 is a good price. If you own a PlayStation, and I honestly think this is for the audience that own these PlayStation Elite controllers and that kind of stuff. This is for these people.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be sold. This had the same user base installment that PlayStation Elite.
Yeah, well, I
players
think
have.
the Elite. See, this is the thing. Like, I think for this, so I did try while I was away. I have a Samsung tablet, and I tried the PlayStation cloud streaming through that with a PlayStation controller, Bluetooth to the tablet, just to see, because this got announced. I was like, you know what? Let me try the PlayStation. I'm in the hotel. I'm like, let me try and see this works. First off, the hotel Wi-Fi wasn't that great. I used my mobile hotspot. Listen, it works, but it's not something that to get you through like a waiting, hanging out in a hotel room. Yeah, fine. It is what it is. But like it does work. Like, you know, there's sometimes a latency, and it does drop, and you know, sometimes it will do that. But it was pretty reliable the couple of times that I used it. But again, it's like if you're in a bind. This thing,
Let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask you a question. What do you use to play remote play on? Like a phone, a backbone?
I really don't do remote play, but what I did was I have the new Samsung 9 Ultra, the 14-inch screen, right?
Oh, okay.
And
okay,
I played the PlayStation on that with a DualSense controller, Bluetooth to the tablet, and that's a 14-inch screen. So that's like I almost have like a mini laptop with me, and it's a huge tablet. It's an incredible tablet. I might have to do a review on it. But the Samsung it worked, and it streamed at 720p. But again, like the thing is like I feel this thing is cool, but the battery life may be something that may be an issue with it. And I would like to see if you could use this as another controller for your PlayStation. Like if you're just playing on a screen and just use this as another controller, it may be a nice additional controller to have in a bind if you want to take it with you, and you can still play your games on the road or whatever like that. But I tell you, it is pretty interesting to have the access of your whole PlayStation remotely available with all the games that you already purchased without buying another service. You know, I saw that Microsoft announced how Nvidia.
Well,
yeah, and I think that's the take-home message that I have for this. Again, this I feel too that this may be more for a preteen or a kid that doesn't have a cell phone yet and maybe wants to play Fortnite or whatever like that, or something on the go, and you know, basically in a hotel room or somewhere where there's Wi-Fi, or where you could do a hotspot. Maybe because your phone does this already. Now, apparently this may be better connected to your PlayStation, but you're still at the mercy of whatever your connection is, your Wi-Fi connection.
So there's two ways of connecting. A lot of people are confused. You can connect directly through your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Any Wi-Fi you have, so you can go anywhere in the world.
Wi-Fi direct.
As long as your
PS5
is on standby. No. There's two ways. So you can go anywhere in the world with this PlayStation Portal. As long as you're connected to a capable Wi-Fi, as long as your PS5 is in standby mode, you can play your PS5. So I can be in LA play my PS5 that's always sitting here in Florida on this place, as long as I'm on a good Wi-Fi connection. The other way is if you're actually in the place where your PS5 is, you can do that Sony or that PlayStation link. That's the other way connect with latency. So they got 2 ways to connect it. And I think they're looking at that way, say, hey, if you're in your house and somebody's using your TV, here's one way. But if you're out on the road and you're wherever, you got Wi-Fi, that's another way. So there are 2 different ways to connect. I do think that this is for that audience of people who likes their SCUF controllers and that kind of stuff. They did say the battery life was the same or on par with the DualShock. So if you got to think about the fact that you have a whole screen on this and the battery life is going to be on the same on par with the DualShock, that's pretty damn good. It has a whole screen on it.
Max Wainscott says, preteen doesn't have a cell phone, can play in a hotel room with this guy in too.
And I'll be honest for you.
Get the hell out of here, Max.
I don't think this is for... I think this is for somebody like me who's like, hey, I got a PS5 and I'm sitting there with my wife and I kind of want to spend a little bit of time with her.
Taking a dump, it's a number 2, but it's constipated. The thing is that I'm not very excited about this thing. I'm not day one for it, but I might get it just to try it out, to see what it is. But this whole cloud, the one thing though that is different than like the G Cloud and all that stuff is that you don't need to subscribe to a service in addition to buying a device. Because my thing was, as I said, if you stop subscribing to xCloud, then that device is basically an Android, GIMP.
It's null and void.
The fact that this thing is basically, linking to the stuff that you already have, I feel like your phone does so much more and your phone can do it. Even though I will, that Rikishi or those strap-ons and stuff like $100. They're not even cheap strap-ons anymore. Pause. Jesus, what the hell are we doing here? But these things are not even cheap. These strap-ons, you look about it, it's $100 for the friggin' Rikishi or whatever the hell those things are. This thing's $200 with a screen, and I think the biggest thing here is that it's an actual DualSense controller, so it has all the motion, all the vibration, all the adaptive triggers, all the stuff of a PlayStation 5 controller with the screen. It's not a Rikishi third-party strap-on thing where you're playing with little dual analog sticks. This thing is a PlayStation controller, so you're familiar with it.
It's a DualSense with a screen. That's it.
DualSense. So you're getting a DualSense with it. So it is going to be probably a better controlled experience using the DualSense with it and not worrying about Bluetooth and stuff like that. You're dealing with not only streaming to your phone, but then the latency of Bluetooth to the thing. And again, I tried it. It works. Again, cool party trip, hanging out the bars, showing, hey, look what I can do. Pull this out of your pocket. The other problem here is that I thought it would have been interesting if it was foldable or something where it could kind of fold or something like that. It is kind of
like one of the foldable tablets.
It's a little unwieldy.
That would have been interesting.
You could just fold it and then fold it open.
I honestly think what they're going for with this device is, hey, you know what? We found that a lot of houses own one at least, and hear me out. We found that a lot of our devices are owned in there's at least one PlayStation. We got to that point where PlayStation is becoming that big kind of thing where at least, one in every blah, blah, blah households own a PlayStation 5. It'd be cool if you had a device where you're like, well, I don't have to go buy a whole nother PS5 for another room. We have a device for you where dad can kind of sit there and play a little bit of something.
Yeah, since this wasn't out, I tried it. I tried the streaming.
I do think with the bigger install base, this device isn't going to be for everybody. I think, like I said,
it's a good price for it. I would say $200. Anything more than that.
You see this device sell
it would have been $600. Yes, I know. They kept the price cheap for that. Yeah. That's right. Just wait.
It's gonna sell.
Let me get.
I don't think it's gonna be big numbers, but it's gonna sell.
And you know what? Too, the same thing too is that they didn't put any 5G or any mobile chips in there as well.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, they didn't do any of that stuff to it to have it go with the with the, to keep the price down. They kept it very simple, 200. But, it's interesting.
Yep.
Liquid Data says here, I think there's more to the poll that Sony's letting us know. You know what? It may be because, again, it seems kind of another interesting thing, too, is that it's a 1080p 60 screen, whereas when you stream into your phone, it's 720p. So that could be what you're saying with the connection here. But, hey, you know what? I might just try it out. I'm not super excited about it, but we'll see.
Have you ever had a time, Jez, where you're like, "Fuck, I want to play a game, but I just don't want to get out of bed, or I just don't want to."
No, yeah.
My wife has had those moments, so I think this is that's why I said in my house, it's going to work because when I take my I take my flights and I go to LA, and I'm sitting there and I'm with my wife's family, I'm like, okay, no, when I get to where I'm at. And I'm like, man, we're sitting there at night and they're not video game house. And I'm like, I'm bored. And me and my wife sitting there. I'm like, hey, you know what? I can pull out this PlayStation Portal and I can play some games. We can, and I think it's good for the fact that it's going to give you the ability. It's not connected to a phone. You don't have to, because I'm going to tell you, I have a backbone and I got rid of it because it was so hard. I had to take my phone out the phone case.
Oh yeah,
it's so much. I think this.
And then if somebody gives you a phone call, you got notifications, messages, like
and then the other thing is having this device is just meant for this. At $199, I think about what I paid for a backbone.
Yeah, that's what I said when I saw how much those things were. $100.
Yeah. Backbones are expensive for no reason.
Yeah.
And so, and then the other thing is people don't realize if you never played a backbone, even the PlayStation backbone, the sticks are set up just like Xbox sticks. So if you're used to PlayStation sticks, you're gonna be like, what? You can still do it, but it's very uncomfortable.
I don't know why they did that.
So the fact that this is just a dual sense in your hand with the screen, I think it's acceptable. I think the price is good. Even and I heard somebody say, that they think this has some kind of Android. If they can figure out a way to hack this and play Game Pass on it, more power to them. Like I think this device could really just be something that maybe Microsoft sits back and they say, hey, we can kind of do something like this because we want to do this streaming and blah blah.
Enough of that.
I mean, anybody.
See, but actually, leading into what Josh here says here, the best part about this is that this is another reason to buy a PS5. But it doesn't give you a reason not to buy a console. And that's, I think, the major take-home is the difference is that you are able to – this is an accessory for your PlayStation 5. This is not, hey, buy this for $200. You don't need a PS5. No console required type advertisement.
Right.
Do you need a PlayStation? So, you know what? That's where I'm like, hey, this is not affecting – Sony's vision as to what they want to do. They're not taking the eye off the prize. This is just another thing that, hey, they want to put it out there. Somebody else wants to use it. You want to use it. That's fine, but it's not going to chip into PlayStation sales. It's not going to make you not want a PlayStation, and now you could buy a PlayStation for $200 with a controller and a screen. You don't need it. And that's the major thing. Like, you don't want these kind of exploratory devices to take their eye off the prize. The prize is their console business and the great games that are coming to that system. That does not compromise us. So therefore, hey, I might not be into it, but who cares? But when you're telling me, here's a G Cloud, you don't need a console, subscribe to our service, don't buy a console, no console required with a Samsung TV. Now you're telling me, well, what's the value of your focus on bringing great games to the console that I invested in? Because I'm not interested in this stuff. But now it seems that you are taking away from the thing that I bought because you want to go poke around over in the neighborhood. And this is not that. This is an accessory to the PS5, and they were very clear on that with this thing. So, hey, no damage done. It is what it is. Same thing with like games on PC. No damage done. It is what it is. You'll hold your breath and figure out when Sony decides to bring you a PlayStation game. There's no cadence to it. There's no predictability. But the eye is not off the prize. The business, the thing that we like, to experience, it has not been compromised. You could buy this as an accessory, do whatever you want. And damn, that's what I like about it. Like, it does not mess up their vision of delivering great games and keeping the PlayStation a priority. And actually, these kind of accessories make the PlayStation even more of a building block for other experiences, which that's what the scene they've been doing. which is great.
I agree.
Because we are at ground zero of their focus, and let them do this other stuff. Hey, there are people that really wanted to jam on this thing at work, and they got a case scenario that this might work out. Good. I did try the streaming on the phones and the tablets that I have. It does work. In a bind, you're sitting there. There's not much going on. You're traveling or whatever like that. There's nothing going on. You're not at the bars. Hey, boot up a game. There's some games that'll be great. Hey, you could play the Astrobots. You could play some of those indie games. Maybe not going on there saying I'm going to kill 100 kills to 1 in Call of Duty, but
right,
but there are definitely games. Let's mess around in Final Fantasy. Let me get some progress done on Final Fantasy. Let me do this. Like there's ways to do that, and all you're doing, you don't have to pay another service for the stuff that you already own. And I saw what I was going into was like, this whole, the Xbox games are coming into NVIDIA cloud gaming, right? Do you know NVIDIA cloud gaming, the GeForce Now, you need to pay them, first off, $10 a month if you want 1080p. If you want 4K, it's like $20 a month, right? Now, if you want to play the Game Pass, the Xbox games in GeForce Now, you either have to buy them on Steam and then pay GeForce to access them in the cloud, or you subscribe to Game Pass and then subscribe to GeForce Now to access them in the cloud off the PC.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 subscriptions to play the game. Because having it on Game Pass will give you access to it, I guess, and that's what Microsoft is allowing it on GeForce Now. So they're still winning because GeForce is getting their money, Game Pass is getting their money, and Microsoft is telling you that, oh yeah, hey, we're on GeForce. Look at us now. But guess what? This is and even that Ubisoft deal. Damn, that's why I didn't have on here that Ubisoft. That happened while I was away. Holy crap!
Crazy.
Speaking about cloud stuff, while we're on the cloud,
we need to talk about that. Never
go full Ubisoft. This Ubisoft cloud thing, I completely forgot about this thing. The Ubisoft cloud and Microsoft doing this stuff. So apparently, to appease the CMA, they went into this agreement where Ubisoft globally. This is a hot topic. This is a topic not on the grind board. I have to add this. But globally, Ubisoft will be in control of Activision Blizzard games with their service. So what games go into Ubisoft? This is crazy that they signed a deal with Ubisoft 15 years to have Ubisoft host Activision games and stuff like that, so Microsoft doesn't look like they are doing that. And the CMA is still reviewing this. Like, it's hilarious watching friggin' Floridian, or whatever the hell's name is, Florian, struggling all over Twitter trying to make sense of all this stuff. Dude is like in Phil Spencer's ass pocket. And this guy, all he tried to do is, this is okay. I still see on Twitter, them going, this is exactly as planned. Yeah, oh, dude, they're scraping at the barrel. They are so desperate for this thing. It is ridiculous. And they went to the lowest point, Ubisoft. Never go full Ubisoft. And now Ubisoft got this Activision games. What the hell? They just like, Microsoft was looking around for a victim, and they saw Ubisoft sitting in the corner trying to figure out what's happened to Skull and Balls. And basically, they're like, hey, you know what, Ubi? You will be a great host. And it's like, what? And then but Frog, you know how Ubisoft rolls, right? Ubisoft.
Oh, you never go full.
You never go full Ubisoft, but you know that, what's his name? Man, if you could put a screen on a friggin', I don't even know, a screen on a friggin' stick. Ubisoft will be there day one with games to work on your stick and a stream.
Yes.
What's his name? Yousev, with that guy. What the hell's his name? Lamont. What's his name? The friggin' guy from Ubisoft. The Pierre. What the hell's his name? What the hell's that friggin' guy's name? Grindhouse. What's his name? Ubisoft is always there day one with your gimmick. They're always there. They were there with Fight Club or whatever like that for the Kinect. They were there for the Move Waggles, the Wii Waggles. They were there with the Zombie. Dude, they are there. The friggin' guy, Ubisoft, goes friggin' Yves Guillemot, dude, he is at the front row of your gimmick, man. He is like Shark Tank, the bootleg version. That's what he's like. You could pitch anything to Yves Guillemot at Ubisoft, and he will sign up there. You walk in there and say, you know what? I'm thinking about making a hat that has a screen on it and a touch screen, and you jump up and down. Yves will be like, yes, we will make a game for that device. Thank you. We'll be there day one. Launch Zombie. You ever heard of Zombie? Zombie will be on that device. Thank you very much. Dude, that's it. Ubisoft is there. They are the suckers. They are the bootleg. They are the friggin' bootleg goddamn Shark Tank. That's what it is. They're the goddamn Guppy Tank. That's what Ubisoft
Never
is.
go for Ubi.
So Microsoft looked for a victim, and they're like, hey, who can host our games? And everybody's like, I don't want to touch that shit. EA's like, no, dude, we're not touching. Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot's like, we'll be there. We just do Just Dance. We will do that as well. What? We will host the games on our shit service, Ubisoft Plus. Plus, Ubisoft. Yves Guillemot. That's what he is. Yves Guillemot. I do Just Dance. Look at my panda dancing and cartwheeling. He will host Ubisoft games, and Ubisoft gets pulled into the mix, and now Phil Spencer got an out that Activision. They are... I don't know. Dude, makes sense.
Crazy.
Makes sense of this friggin' deal. Like, who is this? Like, who? I don't... They are like... I don't understand. I told you, this is for desperation. This whole Activision deal is desperation of Microsoft to be relevant in gaming, because from their sales, from their games, from their oversight of what the hell is going on, they do not know how to be relevant in this gaming industry. So they want to buy their way to have their name slapped on like a tramp stamp on every friggin' game that could be out there. And even if they're indirectly related to it, well, you host it, but we will get the revenue from the game and the microtransactions. Like, they always find the back door. Backdoor Phil. No wonder you got booty working there.
Backdoor
I came
Phil.
looking for booty.
That's backdoor Phil, man.
No,
That's
pause.
exactly. Pause. Phil's always coming in the back door, dude. He's like, well, wait a second. Wait. I'm not going to sell it directly because people don't trust a lying salesman in my face. But if I could have if I got that guy, Yves Guillemot, walk around and sell for me, and then Yves hands me some money around the corners, like Phil backdoor Phil will be right there. Like, it is just ridiculous how they are willing to just destroy everything to make their way in this, and they're in the position that they are because they put themselves in that position. You stop making games. You stopped overseeing quality. You don't know what the hell's going on. You're shoving your Microsoft agenda on Xbox. You're talking about the blades and clouds and all this other stuff when you have no games. You put yourself here, and now you're willing to destroy the whole friggin' gaming environment for everybody else to try to get ahead because you are irrelevant. And that's what grinds my gears about what they have turned into. They have turned into the friggin' kid that just flipped over tables now and is just like, hey, you know what? Nobody plays now, and just flips over the table because he was losing at cards. And that's what Microsoft has turned into. They think they could just flip over the gaming industry because they lost at cards. And fortunately, the gamers are wise. We're wise here in the Gaming Grindhouse. We know that, and it's incredible, looking at the NPDs and the sales, how quality and mainline games are the things that are dominating what's selling. People are putting their money where there is worth. People are not filtering into subscription services where you just keep feeding me some trash ass games that I don't even care about and just go, oh, look, I got a free trash ass game. No, they don't want that stuff. People want to put their money where there's worth and value. And that's what we're seeing. People don't want to just be paying month after month for stuff that they don't use, stuff that they don't care about, stuff that they forget about. Subscription gaming is plateaued. Nobody wants that stuff. People want to know, I'm giving you $70. This is the $70 product that I'm getting. No what ifs, no maybes, no we'll get back to you. No, I took it on the chin and in the mouth. Pause. And now I'm going to give it to you later. 60 frames, Redfall. Look at me, look at me, look at Phil, look at Phil. I took it on the chin. It's a little dripping off my face. This is me crying, and still no updates. Sorry, we're sorry. We'll do better. I heard you. Game is about
games
on
our platform. Because in the end, I think the gamers play the games.
Yeah, Phil.
They don't play the studios. They don't play the resolution.
No.
numbers.
And what else?
When I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games.
Stop talking out your ass. Talking out your booty hole. That's all you do. No, we're sorry. People want to pay money and give me a product. Call it a day. I'll see you when you offer me something else to sell. And you've seen the Game Pass effect. You've seen what it has done to the games that Microsoft is releasing. The Game Pass effect is in full force with StarField. That game is being hidden like a goddamn porno show. It is like a friggin' behind the curtain game. Like, this is what it is. It's like one of those shows that you see on goddamn the street over in like a peep show. That's what it's turned into. It's like, no, don't show anything. Don't show. Dude, it's a $70 game that's coming out in 2 weeks. What are you hiding? That gameplay should be coming out every week about this game. Showing new missions, new abilities, new planets. There's 1,000 planets. We ain't seen one. It's been sliced and diced and covered up. What the hell is going on here? Star Wall, Virtual Dan said. Go anywhere until you see a prompt. A creep show. That's what it is. Like, that's the Game Pass effect. Redfall was the same way. Stealth drop it. We took people in March to go see the game, but they couldn't record any gameplay. Colt Eastwood could only capture it and talk about it, but he couldn't grab any gameplay. We gave him a prepared video of cuts and shit that he could show. You flew people across the country to go play the game, but they couldn't bring any of their gameplay with them. Now, we got this game coming out. It's behind the snuff films. It's a wall. No video shown. No video shown. Now I'm going on my friggin' StarField rant. This is what grinding my gears while this goddamn game. Gamescom happened. Philness at Gamescom. Showed the video of StarField. They had a bunch of people hogging in there. Watch the video. Show me the video. Not even gameplay of somebody playing the game. Right? Showed the video. And the game comes out in 2 goddamn weeks. Where's the video that they shown at Gamescom? Of the new gameplay or whatever like that. Why is that not released to everybody? And what I think is interesting from Gamescom is that everybody is under NDA, but they could talk about the NDA. I've never seen it.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Who has an NDA? I'm looking at something, but I'm under NDA. That's all I saw on Twitter. I'm playing it, but I'm under NDA. NDA means shut the fuck up. That's what an NDA means. What the hell are you going around teasing you're playing the game and saying you're on the NDA? Is it the purpose of an NDA is that you don't talk about the NDA? I've never seen more preposterous goddamn marketing in my life. Who the hell is allowing that? Like, you could tell people you're playing it, but tell them you're on the NDA. What? How about the game is out for review? A review drops on the 31st. Done. What the hell is all this people going? I'm on the NDA. I'm playing it. Wink, wink. I got the game. I'm on the NDA, though. I can't talk about it. Wink, wink. StarField's exciting, but I can't say anything. I'm on the NDA. Wink, wink. What is this? What is this? Is this a Phil Spencer circle jerk? What the hell is this? All these people I got it, but I'm on the NDA. And then we see the clowns over at goddamn Here they are. Look at them. Look at this. Why not? Oh, boy. Philness mouse. We're good to go visit Digital Foundry. Oh, boy. Here he is. There's Phil Spencer Mouse, and then there's Minnie Mouse. Look at it. There's Minnie Mouse. Todd Howard. There he is. He drove him there. He's dressed up in his Uber drivers. Compromised. Look. And don't you think it's very interesting? Don't you think it's very interesting that they did this? They did the video where they allowed them to do the NDA. But they could say, "Hey guys, you saw stuttering, but we are on the NDA, but Microsoft allowed us to tell you that it's not stuttering." This is the video. That's what they said. I wonder why. Philness Mouse, oh boy, he went over there, signed autographs, grabbing ass. He brought Minnie Mouse with him right here. Here's Minnie Mouse. He drove him. So let's see. Digital Foundry's there, shaking hands, grabbing ass. Of course, send over Phil Spencer the whore. Send over Mickey Mouse. Send them over. Because guess what? After Mickey Mouse goes and visits them, what happens? What happens when Mickey Mouse goes and visits them? Watch.
You're my #1 customer.
Where is it? Where are they? There he is. Look, I got before I show, I gotta show everybody in here. I see somebody that has a problem here. Some of the grinders. Who did? CJ's here. Look, CJ, True Virgil, goggling those nuts. Get over here. There they are. They're all in here. You guys, here. This is your face. Here it is, guys. Line them up. CJ, there you go. Oh, there he is. Phil, 2, please. 2 in the mouth, 1 in the hole. Oh, shit, pause. There you go.
Can you goggle my balls? Goggle my balls in your jaw. This is the remix.
We got the True Virgil goggle face. CJ on the left nut. True on the right.
Goggle my balls in your jaw. This is the remix.
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes! 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 Yes!
Can you goggle my balls?
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby!
Send them over. No gameplay, though. Let's send them over. Just smiling, taking pictures like Mickey Mouse. But hide that gameplay. Shut it all down. Shut it all down. And where's that Digital Foundry video? Did you see it, Frog? Did you see that Digital Foundry? Where's that Digital Foundry?
Which one?
The one where they could confirm that the lag that you've seen in the trailers is not there from what they played. Did you see that?
Yeah, I kind of saw it. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know.
Where's that video? Yo, people have this the money.
I don't trust nothing those guys say.
I don't trust a lot of shit they say. I mean, their tech reviews, I kind of watch them, but
not when it comes to Xbox games.
No, some of the stuff they say, it contradicts like other things. So I don't know what to take from them sometimes.
Yo. Well, they got that picture of Phil Spencer, so they got it. This is
I don't trust
video.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't trust a lot of these. Like I said, it goes back to these people who I wasn't a fan of Bethesda. They never played their game, and all of a sudden, Microsoft owns them. I love everything they do. I don't want to say their names because it's not about them, but they know who they are. You know, I don't trust these guys who, hey, we are with this certain group of lords, and we got review codes. None of you guys play the games. None of you guys care about it, but all of a sudden, we're expected to listen to you guys. Come on now. Come on now.
But like,
It
don't
just-
you find like, and you
It
know,
baffles
it's just
me.
the thing is that Gamescom happened. They showed the video to them right at Gamescom. They showed people the video at Gamescom. They had interviews, Todd Howard, Pete Hines, and the whole thing with these whole walls and all this stuff at StarField, this wall stuff. goes along because Pete Hines did an interview with the legs crossed, sitting back, joking around, interviewing with everybody, and saying, well, if you want to walk around the whole planet, you can. And then as soon as he said that, somebody posted a video of the wall that came up saying, go back to your ship. You've hit the edge of this, right? So the reason I'm trying to say is that they do this PR marketing where they sit down and do videos of all talk and talk and talk and not show and show. And this game is coming out in a week. Why are you not showing live demos, showing gameplay, showing the game? Not that 45 minutes that we saw in June. This game is huge. Look how much we saw of Final Fantasy 16 leading up to it. There were different elements, different stuff. Meanwhile, they're sitting around Gamescom just talking out their ass. Like, they're just sitting there going, hey, walk around the planet and you could do whatever you want. And if this guy, like, telling us all this stuff instead of showing with the gameplay. And as gamers, you don't want to see an executive sitting there, legs crossed, interviewing, looking like hot shit, just talking about a game and not showing it when it's coming out in 1 week. In 1 week. And then you got people reviewing it, talking about how it's great, I'm playing a great game, but I can't talk about it, NDA, wink, wink. Like, it's just so weird how they're hiding this game. And they did the same exact thing with friggin' Halo. They did the same thing. The campaign was secretive. They didn't show the campaign. They didn't show anything regarding Halo. They showed you the multiplayer snuff film over in goddamn their E3 showcase, and then Halo went ghost until they stealth launched it in beta and then dropped the campaign on December 6th. But Halo was shown and went ghost. StarField, same thing. Shown and went ghost. And now they had Gamescom. Why wasn't the video shown and everybody at Gamescom this week revealed to everybody? Why is the gameplay being taken down it leaks as quickly as possible? Because the release date of when people stop playing it is when you can share gameplay. How sus is that? That the day that the game releases, that people could buy it with their Ultimate Edition on September 1st is the one time that people could show gameplay. You're right, Mr. Tennis. The same thing with Cyberpunk. And you want to know what? I was thinking the same thing as Mr. Tennis, and I'll let Link go. But, you know, Cyberpunk was the same thing. People like, we don't need to see so much of it. They're God tier over there working at CD Projekt Red, a God tier. Look what they did with The Witcher. And you got the same people promoting this because it's a Bethesda Todd Howard game. Oh, man, it's just a Bethesda game. I know what to expect. I know. And it's riding the wave of the studio rather than the merits of the game itself. This is a new IP. This is a new way of exploring stuff. This needs to be shown because this is something out of the wheelhouse of Bethesda. They've never done a space game before. This is a new IP. This is not Fallout 5.
Yeah, this is not brand new.
This is not Oblivion, Skyrim 2. This is a brand new IP, new mechanics, new background, space, all this stuff. This needs to be marketed. Instead, they're just resting on their laurels of it's just Fallout in space. All right, we saw enough. There, you're done. And that's what people are resting on. And it's going to come and bite them in the ass. Not in the reviews, but in the reception of this game. I'm telling you, people who love Fallout are going to like this. People expecting Fallout 25 years in development game, no way. You're looking at the leaks, the mechanics and everything. The AI, everything is pulled right from a friggin' Fallout game. It looks like janky as it looked back then in this game. And this game should be moving it forward, and it's not. And they're hiding the gameplay. You have thousands of planets, Frogs. How can they not just show a guy doing one mission, landing on a planet, going to another planet, going to where he needs to do? What do you do on these barren planets? Why are you collecting resources?
Yes.
Are there survival elements? Because in No Man's Sky, there's survival elements. You got to make sure you craft enough fuel to get off the goddamn planet. There's a risk reward to running 4 minutes from your ship because you might not have enough energy to come back to your ship. You can't just free teleport to your ship like I'm teleporting. You got to make sure your ship has pulse stuff to get it to you. You could screw yourself in No Man's Sky. I've had it. You could dig a hole into a cave and not get out of it. You know, there is so much. There's a risk reward to exploration. What's there?
So I have a question. Has Xbox actually put out a gameplay footage of the game and said for sure this was the Xbox version of the game?
Apparently,
no.
what they showed at Gamescom, I guess.
They didn't say that. I mean, they didn't come out and say this
They
is
didn't even talk about
shown
it.
running on. They didn't say this is running on Series X. This is running on Series. They didn't do that. Every demo they shown off, they met. And what did Phil say in one of those interviews? He said we need to be more transparent about what our console gamers are getting, and we need to start showing our games running on console and not on PC.
We'll do that later.
Right, but what I'm saying is like, and I was telling somebody this earlier. We haven't seen this game running on Series X or Series S.
No,
we haven't had definitive footage of this game running on the console. They don't even tell you what the game is running on when they show it to you. If for all we know, it's running on a PC. You can people can speculate and say, well, this person told me that it was running on this and that, but Microsoft themselves is not transparent about this game. And if you have a good product, and that's what I said earlier today to some people on Twitter, you got a good product, you're not going to hide it.
Exactly.
You're not hiding it. Why haven't we had maybe a 10-minute hands-on with somebody actually playing the game?
Mm-hmm. It's all going to happen the day the game comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Which is crazy for a game this massive. Story spoilers, like what? Like, you know, people like that's what people were doing with the Halo excuses. Like, oh, they're going to spoil the story, so no campaign and stuff. And this is the problem that I have. And it's not, again, it's not the game itself. It's the way Microsoft and Xbox are handling it. They trot out Phil Spencer, they trot out Pete Hines, Todd Howard, their executives to go to Gamescom, walk around, do their interviews talking about the game, but not showing the game. And whatever they showed, why was that only showed to Gamescom audience if that was new stuff, the first 40 minutes, and has not been released to anybody now at all? And you can't show it, and they take it down. Here, this is the guy walking. They took down the video, a copyright claim for the guy who's walking 4 minutes and got the pop-up saying, get back to the ship. They took down the video. Was that spoiling anything? And what's crazy is that was not even mentioned by anybody. And the fact that Pete Hines said you could walk around the planet if you want, like that's the PR bullshit that executives say, but in reality, the game is not doing it. And that's the point I'm making. As a customer, as a person that's spending money on a product, do you want to be lied to by executive salespeople, or do you want to see it for yourself to know where you're putting your money? That's what frustrates me. That's why I get so angry about this stuff, because if you were trying to take money from me to convince me to buy this, you were doing a horrible job, because all you're doing is talking, and every time some gameplay gets leaked of the guy fighting a dinosaur, shooting stuff, and the guy walking and getting a pop-up screen, you're taking it down. You got people telling us they're reviewing the game, but they're under NDA. They can't tell you if they like it or not. Why? Like, how is that not part of the NDA? If you have such
NDA lives what for a few hours before the early
yes,
when you pay
look,
for the early access is available.
Yeah, there it is. The one of the 3 C's in the chat. There it is. And just like that, StarField is complete. All will be revealed on 8/31 September at 8/31 at 9. Look at this, 9 a.m. There you go. The hours before the game is playable, all will be revealed. They'll talk about it. A 12-hour campaign. Meanwhile, you given these NDAs, you're so strict. You're not showing gameplay, but you're letting people say that they're playing the game and on an NDA. Like, what kind of scamming is that? Like, if you're on an NDA, you're reviewing the game. Don't even tell people you're reviewing the game. Like, why would you allow them to go say that they're playing it and under NDA? Why? Because you're trying to damage control that the game didn't go, the announcement of the game going gold. So what they did was they used everybody who had the game to try to counter that the game is finished. Remember? Because that was the concern. The game wasn't gold. The game wasn't, like, there was no announcement. But when it got announced that it was gold, right before that, people were saying that they were playing it and under NDA. So it was damage control that the game was finished and they got it.
You're my number one customer.
Dude, like, it's a business. I understand. It makes these people money. Tune in at this time. I'm reviewing the game, and Microsoft knows that. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're pandering to the people, the streamers. Don't you think streaming? Hell, I'm going to stream it. You want to know what? Everybody could probably come watch it. You want to know why? Because we haven't seen anything of the game. So now streamers are going to have a field day with this game this weekend because guess what? You haven't seen anything. So you're going to tune into your favorite streamer right here, Gaming Grindhouse, and watch the game being played. So streamers are hanging out there. That's fine because they're being so secretive about it. But you're right. Like, if this game was as massive and fully featured as it should be, then they should be showing all of it. And they haven't.
They should.
They should be.
I don't understand this secrecy behind showing the game.
I don't
get
it.
Showing the game running on the console.
Yep.
Which is the way you make hardware. You make a console. When Sony shows a game running, they let you know, hey, if this game is running on a PS5 or if it's running on a PC. And
they're taking it down.
I just don't get it.
All down. Let me get some of these super chats. Magnum Gaming says you could play your PSVR 2 in your backyard with the Portal. Just plug it in and wrap the cord around your neck. The claim was, Bethesda is a corporate husk of what they were before, just like Blizzard. StarField will be microtransaction hellhole in a couple of months. Yeah, I think they're gonna use microtransactions with the with the mods. The mods are gonna do it on PC. But that's right. Like, Miss Dennis says that what marketing? We haven't seen a damn thing. It's just so weird for a game as massive as it is with planets and everything. Like, I still do not understand, besides the campaigns and the items that they want you to go around space and doing, why would you need motivation to go look at barren planets? Is it for crafts?
Right.
Is it for this? And then it's randomly generated. That's the whole wall thing that's going on with StarField. And we move this up to here. But, like, the whole thing with the wall is that when you land, it auto-generates a certain radius. That's it. And now you walk around that radius. But the biggest thing from that leaked footage that I saw from StarField was that the guy ran for 10 minutes. It wasn't the pop-up of go back to your ship that was like striking to me. What was striking to me is that the guy walked for 10 minutes, said that he was at the wall, and there was nothing in his way. There was no buildings. There was no pop-ups of side missions. There was no aliens. There was nothing. There was nothing. He ran for 10 minutes, and there was popping of rocks and sand. There was nothing on there. That's the thing that was so striking. Like, when you land in No Man's Sky, there's things all over the place. There's things happening. There's animals fighting other animals. You could feed animals. You could ride animals. You could tame them.
Right.
There's all plants that you could craft from. The guy had rocks and sand and ran for 10 minutes and said, go back to your ship. Where is the exploration in this? Why would you even land on a planet for what? If there's nothing there. And it's like, well, there was no randomly generated. He's walking in a straight line. Nothing randomly generated. No pop-ups. Nothing saying, hey, something's happening over here on this planet. Something's here. There's something over here. The guy just ran and said, go back to your ship. It is like and then you could just teleport to your ship, not using resources, not using any kind of, you could just load screen everywhere, basically. That's the thing what I don't understand. And the reason why I bring this up is because, and compare it to No Man's Sky, is that the problem I have is this game is getting its praise because people are telling you how massive it is, how incredibly huge it is. But people are not telling you about the content of the massiveness. And that's the issue. When it comes to what the content is, it gets hidden. It gets taken down. It gets under NDA until the game is
number
released.
one customer.
Why am I landing on planets? What am I doing? Why would I do this? All those questions about No Man's Sky. My problem is that this game is getting a pass because it's a Bethesda game and Todd Howard, baby, but it's also getting a pass because I hear the excuses, even with Paris talking about it, like, this game is just so massive. It's just huge. You could do whatever you want. It's just massive. If it is, why haven't we seen more of it? It's an open universe. Fly anywhere. Thousands of planets. Hundreds have animals on them. What do you do with those animals? Do you eat them? Do you hunt them? Do you tame them? What do you do? Are they just there? Do you kill them? Is there security bots like No Man's Sky that you can't just destroy animals? And one other thing, Frog, like on No Man's Sky, you are also seeing plants, seeing flora and fauna, and naming it. And that it gets named. Like you are identifying, you're discovering stuff. There's a reward system there. Where is that in StarField? Are you naming things? What are you doing? Like, and none of this stuff, everybody who's hyped about StarField, not even asking it. They're just like, it's so massive. Yeah, Frog.
I was gonna say, I know Paris had put hey, I beat the game. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
he said he beat the game, and then he said, be prepared the 31st to look at it. And my response to Paris, just like I responded to him about Phil Spencer, is, I kind of want to know your history of where you're coming from with this game. Like, were you a Fallout fan? Did you play Fallout? Did you play, Elder Scrolls? Did you play Oblivion? And the reason I say that, and some people make that as dumb, is because if you don't have a history with this company and the games they've made, and you're just viewing it for, you can't see the progression where they come from, what kind of advice can you really give me? Like, because I've played all the Fallouts. I've played all the Elder Scrolls games. I've been there with, Bethesda's RPGs, and I kind of see where they can be janky. And I want to see the real progression of where where StarField has come from Fallout and from the Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and Oblivion. But if this is your game, your first game you're playing, and you're just playing it because you're a PR guy and it's a hot thing to play, do I really want to take your advice? And I would say no.
But Frog, you heard him, what he was saying. Like, I thought it was crazy. I did it on my last show where he was like, this has to be a 10. Like, this has to be huge. This has to be. And meanwhile, he's like, I'm the one reviewing it. It's like, dude, you should have nothing to say. What do you mean this has to be a 10 and you're the lead reviewer on it? Like, and I think this is the other thing that I think is another issue. The weight of this game is astronomical. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why it's being so protected, is because there is this sense that this is like the $7 billion purchase. This is years in the making. This is why they bought Bethesda. This is the game. This is what it is. And there's just weight of Microsoft on Bethesda. And I'm going to tell you this. I think it's unfair. I think it's not fair to Todd Howard. I think it's not fair to this game, that this game bears the weight and the sins of Xbox on it. And I agree. Think that's the problem. Like, people are bearing all the sins and mistakes that Phil Spencer and everybody made Xbox to put in the hole that it's in, and now thinking that this game is going to take it out of the hole. And I'm telling you right now, it's not. No matter what this game is, Phil said it himself. If it's 11 out of 10, it's not going to change anything. They put a goddamn condom on an Xbox Series X to show you how much they care about this game and the console. They put a condom wrap for a console, a condom wrap for a console. That's how much they care about it. They'd even given an exclusive machine with the game there. So therefore, this game is not moving consoles. They are giving you the wraps. The wrap goes around the console. You have a StarField console. It is the most laziest friggin' like tacked on lazy bull that Microsoft really gives you, that you feel like a second class citizen. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I think they didn't make a console that was modular, so you really can't.
That's all right, dude. They made a Halo custom console.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I see what you're saying.
They didn't make their console customizable like PlayStation, so this is kind of the only option you have.
They made a Halo custom console. Why won't they do a
I'm not talking about a custom console. I'm saying this is kind of like their version of what Sony's doing with the plates. So I think it's pretty cool. I might buy one. I'm not gonna buy a StarField one, but if they put out one that I like, I might buy it. But no, I mean, they didn't. Did they put out a custom console? I don't know. Did they put out a StarField console?
No.
Okay, yeah. They said
this is their custom console. It's a goddamn ribbed wrap for your console. Wrap it around in some plastic.
I read that they said that it just wasn't worth the.
It's a friggin' condom for the Xbox Series X. They didn't put a condom on the S though. The S is going balls free. No. So where's the where's the wrap for the S, the most popular console? Why are you giving wraps for the X?
I get what you're saying.
Where's the wrap for the S then? If that's the most popular console,
that's their main console. Yeah. Where
well, the S, yeah, and I do think
you could put custom glory holes on the friggin' vent on the frog. Pull.
Oh my god!
Then you could put a custom black circle. You could put a whole bunch of different customs on it.
I was gonna say I do think that because we and once again we kind of talked about it, but I do think that there will be some problems moving forward. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh no, the Series S is okay." Moving forward, in this generation, we're just focused on just these consoles. We're going to see problems.
It's not okay.
We're going to see problems. We're going to see problems at Series S. They Larian saying, "Hey, this mode, we're going to release this game, and this mode won't be coming." We're going to see certain things. When you see games like I can't remember Avium. That Avium game, and it's running at 720p upscale to 4K, but then it's running below running below freaking 480p on the Series
S.
It's
like 432p. It's substandard definition.
And is that because of the engine it's running on? Yes, that does have some. The
Unreal 5, yeah.
That does have some, but I do also think you're going to see games that they just can't do the same things on S, and they're like, shit, well, it'll be on S, but we just won't have these features here. And your Microsoft won't be able to say, no, you can't do it because you let a studio do it already. Now, any studio can come in there and say, hey, this one won't have this feature here. This one won't have this. And when Microsoft tries to argue that, it can say, no, look, you let this studio do it, and we can't do it either. I think it's a waste of time, in my honest opinion, and I've said it before, for a studio to say, damn, we really got to restructure this whole game in our vision for this Series S. And I think at some point you're going to see a lot of studios that will just move past even putting it on the Xbox if Microsoft is parity. I think Microsoft is at the point where they're like, we know this parity thing is not going to hold up. We're just going to have to let them release. Yeah, we're just going to have to let them release games how it is.
Frogs, this is the issue, right? It was fine as long as everything was cross-gen and they were still making games for PS4 and Xbox One, but as third party starts to move away from cross-gen games, right? This is where you're starting to see these devs struggle to get these games to run on the Series S. I think there's a Lord of the Rings game. The Xbox version is delayed until next year or something because they didn't say it was a Series S, but you can kind of, for technical reasons, they're having some issues with the game. So this is going to continue to be an issue. But Microsoft, this is the issue Microsoft does not need. You know why? Okay, you have an underpowered console, right? You have a smaller install base. And on top of having a smaller install base in PlayStation, you have a huge disparity in sales with these games, right? So you have games that are in single digits sometime when it compares to the sales on the PlayStation. So you don't need a situation where it's hard to develop for your console and you don't have the users on your platform that want to buy games. That's a bad combination. It makes it easier for a third-party dev that's making a multi-platform game to skip your console when it's hard to get the game to run and your users don't buy the game. I mean, why are you going to spend the time and effort to try to get the game to run on the Xbox?
Yeah, you get Jenna Hayes here with the 5. Yeah. She goes, Paris better have his resume ready because if Starfield's a failure, Microsoft made him the fall guy. Dude, nah, man. They're flexible, dude. He had Phil ticking on the chin on his show. You know, with that thing, and Phil still hasn't delivered the 60 frames per second update to Redfall, and there's nobody playing it
because that game is dead.
Well,
because that game is dead.
Still did deliver. He said, said on that thing that it was on track, and that was back in May.
Listen,
that
I read
game
an article,
is dead.
Frogs. I read an article today that said that there's an averaging around 20 players on Steam playing Redfall.
I read the same.
Yeah,
that game is dead.
But the thing is that the 60 frames was due to probably the S because it ran 60 frames on PC, and the fact that they haven't gotten the 60
and it can run 60 frames on the Series X.
I'm sure it can. The game's like trash.
Once again, it goes back to saying like everybody, and this is why I really hate the fact that the gaming community as in our small space that we have it is so ignorant to really call out stuff. The people who champion the hardest for Xbox or for anything that can see something as BS, they just won't call it out. They'll sit there and say, well, I think it's okay. And there's so many of them that I'm going to be honest with you. So many people I just want to call out because I can't stand that you champion something that's so mediocre instead of saying, look, we need to do better.
Well, because,
we need to do better.
Because they don't want to hit them while they're down, and also the people that follow them don't want to hear that stuff because you've seen what happens. Like, you even seen, like, when somebody who is a big Xbox fan says something, they come after you with forks and knives going, you're not part of the community. There's this very weird cult type of following and craziness on the YouTube and Twitter sharing it, where if you have to say something bad about it, you just have to smile and eat your Wheaties and take it on the chin like Phil does. And you know what's funny is that somebody said in the chat here that there are even 2 characters that they still need to add to the Bite Back or Sucker Edition. I like to call that one. They still got some 2 characters they got to add to that thing. So that's the Sucker Edition right there.
And y'all might or might not know. How much is that game? If you didn't have Game Pass, how much
$70
right now? It's still $70.
Oh, how much is it in the store? Let me see.
No. If you had to go buy it right now digitally on your Xbox Series, it's still $70.
I haven't seen any sales. Let me see.
And my whole, because I'm wondering,
it's $70 really on Steam right now.
So they're really that out of touch.
It's $70 on Steam. It is. Let me look at the Xbox store.
Yeah, once you tell me the price, I'm gonna tell you what I think. I'm gonna tell you my opinion.
Get it now. Yep. There it is. Buy Redfall.
So you know what?
Bite Back Edition is still going for $100 right now.
So you know what? I'm gonna tell you what I feel at this point.
They want you to go through.
They don't care. They don't care. Yes, they don't care if that game ever drops in price. They don't ever have to drop the price because they have it in a service you can pay monthly for, and that's where they want you. So don't expect their games, even if they're bad, to drop in price. If they're good, they're not dropping in price.
Don't care.
If they're bad, they're not going to.
It's exactly where it needs to be. A $70 game that sucks, and you would never buy it, so subscribe and play it. That's exactly what they want.
And Phil Spencer's going to do what he did when he sat there and he answered questions. He didn't answer most of the questions. He danced around and told you he was going to tell you later about something he was asked right then and there. We're going to tell you about something, even though you asked me this question, we're going to tell you about parity and all this other stuff later. No, I just asked you a whole question. Why can't you tell me now? And it's because he's him and a lot of people over there, they're liars. They're going to lie to your face because it's about business. They're going to lie to your face. People are so asinine, they won't call them out.
Frog, you know what? I'm going to back you up on this one, Frog. Look at this. I looked at the Steam price history charts. Look at this. It never went on sale. Redfall never dropped below $70 since launch. It came out in May. It never dropped. Look, lowest recorded price is still $69.99 on Steam. They never dropped the price of Redfall. They never try to get that install base back up, and now you're looking at it. There's your price history, grinders. Look at that. $70 is the lowest price. It never dropped. And now let's see how many people are on Steam right now. I said 17 when I checked it 3 weeks ago. But Frog, you're right. That's exactly what it is. Even if the game is bad, they don't care. They do not care. There are 19 people playing this game right now. 19 goddamn people.
There's so many things they didn't care about with that game.
61
they didn't even allow you to look, Jez. You had to go find somebody that actually owned the game to even play it. They don't care. They just want you to say, "Hey, you're in Game Pass," and they want the
freaking. Released in April. Not May. It released in April.
They want the Lords of the Right Door stall to tell you, "Hey, this is the best thing in gaming."
Frog, it went from April 27th. It went from 6,000 people to 500 people on May 11th. So then, after 500 people, it went by June. It was at 100. The June showcase brought it to 74, and now it's down to double. It's down to the 17 people.
Yes, once again,
60 people.
If this is any other company trying to live
never
like
went on sale.
If this is any other company trying to live like this and do the things they're doing, they'd be dead.
Wrong. The Bite Back Edition, Redfall Pass.
Oh my god!
It has it's $100 right now, or $80 with Game Pass. It is $100 Redfall Hero Pass with 2 future heroes.
This is sad.
For what?
Don't get it. But I did see Link playing a game that I'm very interested in. That's why I had to.
Wait, I got some Philness.
Get him in here. Oh no, go ahead with the Philness. But I just want to know. I just want to keep in Link's head that I saw you playing something just now. I'm interested and I want to know about.
What was he playing?
Link's. He's playing Armor Core. I really, really want to know because I trust Link's opinion.
Yeah, I'm playing it right now. I'm playing it right now. That's why I'm on the podcast. Yeah. It's awesome, man. I'm loving it. I've never played an Armor Core game.
Yeah, but I know one of the questions is you're playing a PS5 version apparently.
Yeah.
The rumor I heard was it's like a From Software game. If you play the PS4 version, it's locked 60. The PS5 drops frames here and there.
It drops a little bit, but it stays in the 50s. I mean, if you got a TV with VR, you're not gonna notice it. But the thing about it, man, I'm not playing. The PS4 version is 1080p. This one's, dynamic 4K, so it's 1800p. The texture quality. I mean, it's a PS4 game running on PS5, so of course it's gonna be locked. But no, it's not.
Mm.
Yeah,
the frame rate's good. I'm not.
I play some of the old Armor Cores, but the control scheme is what made me not like them.
The control scheme is great on this game, man.
I heard they
very intuitive. Right. They did, man. Okay. Yeah, it's good, man. Frame rate solid. The graphics are average. The gameplay is great, man. It's fast. It's fluid. It's challenging. You can customize your mech down to all these different details. I like it. I'm loving the game, man.
Okay.
Mm.
So something I'm looking forward to getting.
Check that stuff out.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long time since I played Armor Core.
Yeah.
I think Armor Core 2 was the last time I played one.
I never played the old ones, man. So this is my first one. I did,
and their controllers were just they just weren't where they needed to be. That's why I couldn't play them. But it's good to hear that.
I wanted to jump back to what you guys were saying with the with the whole split screen and the Larian thing here. Because that's the thing that just to wrap up the Gamescom type thing. Because I really didn't watch a lot of the interviews because I didn't want to be on vacation and want to grind the gears. So basically, this thing, another thing that irked me. So one was the StarField stuff, which I might talk a little bit more about, but about them hiding this stuff because I'm just sick of it as a gamer. But the one thing though is this Larian thing that you guys were talking about on how they're allowing the parity that the Baldur's Gate will be coming out sometime later this year for Xbox, but it's not going to have the split screen on the S. So this is like one of the games that Larian was public about it, saying that, hey, we want to get this game out, but the S is giving us problems. We can't figure out the S, blah, 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 and that's why we don't have a definitive date. We don't have the time to get it out for Xbox this year. Now, they go to Gamescom, and then this is the tweet that they came out with here. Super happy to confirm, after meeting with Phil Spencer yesterday, we found a solution that allows us to bring Baldur's Gate 3 to Xbox players this year still, something we've been working towards from quite some time. And then they followed up, all improvements will be there with split-screen co-op on the X. Series S will not feature split-screen co-op, but will be included cross-save progression between Steam and Xbox Series. And then they said they'll still be working on it. The thing that grinds my gears about this is that Larian has been public, very public, for the last 2 months about this thing leading up to it. Where was Phil Spencer's meeting then? Why did it need to be Phil Spencer? Like, why does this guy need to be in the spotlight like he's the goddamn Dalai Lama savior of every issue going on with Xbox? He has to make sure that he gets tagged. He's the one that we met with him and Phil Spencer fixed it. What the hell did Phil Spencer do? They were supposedly sending Xbox ninjas over there. What the hell did a meeting at Gamescom with Phil Spencer do to allow them to ship this game? You know what he did? He said, you know what? I'll let you ship it without the X. Where was Phil Spencer saying that when they went public, saying the S was giving them problems, and he's doubling down on the S? Where was Microsoft when they were going public about this? Why does it need to be when Mickey Mouse delivers and he shows up at Gamescom, The savior of Phil Spencer, he saved them. After meeting with Phil Spencer yesterday, we found a solution. Because Phil Spencer needed to be in the limelight. He needed to look like, and all the thank you Phils, Phil did it. He saved Xbox. This PR campaign from Microsoft is goddamn disgusting. They tout this man out like friggin' Mickey Mouse when there are problems at hand that could just be squashed. But instead, he shows up and they make him the thing, not the game. And I hate it. I think it's ridiculous. And I can't believe people fall into this stuff. After years of this guy lying about all this stuff, it's more about him than anything with Xbox ever has. Even when Peter Moore was there, people were not Googling and goggling over Peter Moore. They cared about the games that came to Xbox 360. Yes, he was cool. Yes, he did some cool things. He said things. But it wasn't about Peter Moore. It wasn't about Robbie Bach. It wasn't about Ed Freeze. It wasn't about Shane Kim. It was never at this level where you ship out friggin' Philness mouse and he met and saved Larian Studios. And you want to know why this had to happen? Because Baldur's Gate was such a big game. And guess what? Mr. Mickey Mouse Philness mouse had to say, me too. I need to be part of this conversation because Baldur's Gate is such a big game. It might win awards and won't be on an Xbox, and I'll be hearing it like that. So Phil Spencer had to come in and go, you know what? Ship it on Xbox this year so when they wins the awards, we'll be there to celebrate going. It's on Xbox as well. So it was a PR move, and Phil Spencer had to make sure that he was the spotlight. He had to make sure that he was the one who was tagged and met with them and said, hey, guys, ship it, screw the S. Where was the management of Xbox when Larian was saying we're struggling to get this game out? And if Microsoft and these executives really cared, they would have been in on Baldur's Gate that quick. They would have said, hey, we need to help you, Baldur's Gate. You want to know what? You're having trouble with the S? Get it out on the X, and we'll talk about it later. The same thing that Phil Spencer did here. Why did it take, they had to meet him at Gamescom and came to a solution? Why? Because Phil saw how big the game was and realized I need to be on this, so let me waive my goddamn parity clause. They said it themselves. They're the ones that said there's a clause that we cannot ship this game with different features onto two different Xboxes. Meanwhile, you've seen this with Microsoft's own games. Split screen in Halo, split screen in Forza, 30 frames per second on StarField, 60 frames not at Redfall at launch, never here. You've seen Microsoft's own first party struggling with these own clauses because they do not want to segregate the S and the X. Meanwhile, they will happily take your money for more power, but that more power is being hamstered by Booster.
But there's two reasons, Jazz, they did this. We already know why. And I'm pretty sure that you know, me and Link can sit here and probably tell you one of the two. One of them is the game scored really freaking well. It scored really well. It came out of nowhere, knocking people's socks off. And everybody's like, holy crap, this is also going to be on PlayStation 5. And the reason the Xbox talk wasn't there, and it was just PlayStation 5, because we knew for a fact it's coming to PS5. We knew for a fact they were having problems on the Xbox Series S.
They said it
some of the
months
ago. And so one of the things with, and I know Phil Spencer sat back and he looked and said, wow, this game scored, and this game came out of nowhere. It's the talk of the town. The other reason is it came to PC first. Whether it's in Game Pass or not, PC. He wants to have that mindset of people to say, hey, Xbox is PC and PC is Xbox. So we got to ship this game. We got to let players know, hey, you know, and I think that when it all boils down to it, you'll see more and more games do this. Like I said, some games will ship because of money. Some games will also not ship because the console or the developers are like, look, we just don't want to put that work and effort to try to even make it for the S. If I was making a game and I said, and I'm surprised, like I'm really surprised that you got developers out here using really hard engines and saying, man, we'll just ship this at 438p and upscale to 4K on the S. Like this game looks like absolute dog shit, but we're gonna do it. It's not in game. And here's the other thing: it's not in Game Pass.
Nope.
So that's the other big reason they were like, we really got to get this here just to capture some sales numbers because it's not in Game Pass. It's not in Game Pass. You know, very rarely do you see them really push
Go
hard
out of
for
their
games
way.
that aren't in Game Pass. But this is something that like this game scored really well. We can push numbers here. This game could really maybe sell some numbers here because it's the talk of the town is this game. So they had to be there. They couldn't lose that ability to say it's on PlayStation 5 and it's not here by the end of the year.
It was a Me Too. He had to look like
all means necessary. All means necessary. We got to get this game here, no matter what it takes. And if that includes, hey, the Series S doesn't get the split screen mode, so be it. And I think it's one of those things that, and we're gonna see going into next year because, see. I think Link said it. I think Link said it in the chat, or I was watching Link do something, but he was either talking. I think going into next year, you're gonna see less games be cross generation from PS4, Xbox One, and we're gonna see games just being developed for PS5, for Xbox, the Series systems, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a
somebody just wrote in the chat too that what is it? There's a 30. Well, we know there's 30 frames for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's no 60 frames on the S. And then there's another game. They just said the Naruto game that's coming out. There's no matchmaking with the S because the S doesn't have 60 frames per second, so they're not matchmaking.
I'm telling you, man,
it's only at 30. It's the same reason why the Fortnite doesn't matchmake with on the Switch to everybody else because it's not it's a disadvantage.
Anybody can sit there that's playing on an Xbox, that's in that Xbox camp and tell you this is a great decision to make a Series S. If they can realistically tell you why it's not moving the market as far as console sales, it's not helping the industry move forward as far as console. What makes this console good? Oh, because it's $299, you can sell a whole bunch of them and finagle people to really say you're in this generation, you're really not.
Well,
like what
what
makes this console great?
I have a topic on that one. Let me get to these things here. Seru21, he goes, this is the first crack at the parity. Damn, the Series S is a compromised experience. Amen to that. That's exactly what it is. And we said that when it was announced. I'm like, how do you go into the current gen with a weak console and a strong console? How do you do that? What does your future look like? And everybody's like, it just scales. It just scales. Somebody says, wait, you can matchmake with them, but you can't. Wait, somebody said so. Josh says you can matchmake, but you can't turn it. Wait, you can matchmake with them, but you can turn it off. Oh, okay.
No, so this is how it works. If you're playing with, like, if you're on the PS5 and you're playing with a PS4 player, the combat is locked at 30 frames because you're playing against someone on a lesser console. You can turn off matchmaking with the other console on the PlayStation side, so that you only match with PS5 players. So you can play at 60 frames per second.
S is considered like a last gen?
I don't know how they're doing it with the Xbox, though. So I don't know about what they're doing with Xbox.
Game Night 123, thanks for the 10. Where he goes, it's funny because prior to that tweet that I'm showing right now where Phil saved everybody, Phil was essentially dragging Larian down, talking about creative freedom. Yes,
he was.
And he does not see a future where games skip the Series S. And actually, that is great because I have the video.
I remember that.
I have the video of him talking about parity right here with Cookie Monster Dustin Laguerre. Where is he? Cookie, here it is. Here's the video.
Developers just to launch on the Series.
Here we go. Here it is. Let's see a Philness.
Is there some future where you allow developers just to launch on the Series X versus S? Because there's the parity clause right now, and I'm curious, will that ever be loosened up a bit?
I want to decouple these issues a little bit.
Yeah.
The decision to do split screen or not is a creative decision, a dev decision. So if we think about like Forza, it has nothing to do with any kind of hardware.
You're my number one customer.
Just where they wanted to focus their time. We obviously see the data in terms of how many people play local co-op for games. I love local co-op. Shout out to Vampire Survivors that just launched it. Fantastic. But there's also just let's go where the play is in terms of where we're going to focus our dev resources.
Is there some future
Wait, I got a comment on this one. Enta Saru just told me to stop the cap, Jez. It's the best deal in gaming. Oh my God. Well, we got a song for that one.
You're done. You're washed. It's over.
The best deal in gaming.
And second on two.
Oh, damn.
New games are coming fast. 12 minutes and 80
It's the best deal in gaming, he said. We're cutting this off because I got to talk about this Philness interview. It's the only part that I got. So he was asked about the parity clause and split screen. And he uses Forza as there's no hardware limitations, he says. It's just a creative decision, he says. That's what he goes. It's a creative decision. Meanwhile, this is the longest 6 goddamn years for Forza, and it's the first time they have done split screen in Forza. And add that to drag racing, add that to drift racing, add that to now Nürburgring, sorry guys if I'm pronouncing that wrong, the most popular, longest racetrack for endurance is not there at launch. And know what's funny is that all this is not at launch at Forza. Meanwhile, Forza was the most optimized game. Forza was the only game hitting 1080p 60 on the Xbox One at launch. Forza Tech was the most workable engine for Xbox. It was the most optimized.
Why did they say the game won't have split screen?
Because because their engine, their graphics engine, or whatever they're talking
their engine
about.
is more demanding.
Yes.
For technical issues, they can't have it. They're not going to tell you it's because of Series S.
But that sounds like a hardware issue, don't you think? They shouldn't be having and you know what's funny, Link? They said the same thing about Halo. Halo, because of the slip space engine, we couldn't do this. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you're creating a new engine and new stuff, isn't that supposed to work in your favor? That optimizes, it streamlines stuff. How do you go regress using a new engine? You know, like if you develop slip space to be the engine that's going to streamline, it should have that fixed. You shouldn't have less. Then why are you wasting your time developing an engine if it's going to give you problems and not have, quote, legacy features? Because that's what the guy said. Nürburgring. Yeah, that's right. Nürburgring. That's it. And it's a creative decision for split screen. Meanwhile, you had Larian Studios, shout out to Super Chat, with the game night, saying that, it's a creative decision. They said, no, we can't get it to work on the S. And Phil never answered about the parity in this question. He never answered about the parity. He says split screen is a creative decision. And I don't see people skipping the S. People are going to skip Xbox entirely. And that's what they're doing because you don't have, just what Link said, you don't have the install base.
Nope.
New hamburger, they said. New hamburger. Nürburgring.
Yeah.
Yes. Nürburgring. But that's not at launch either. That track is an icon track. That is like an endurance track. Dude, that's when you do the 24-hour racing. Like that's how I know about it. I learned about that track from Forza. I learned so much from the Forza games. No Ramburger. That's right. And not at launch. It's coming sometime next year. Are you kidding me? How? Why? Is it the engine? Is it the lighting? Is it because they're making flowers on the side of the road or they have a merry-go-round and a Ferris wheel there? Is that the reason why that they can't implement legacy features? The guy quoted them as legacy features. Features, that's legacy. That means they were in every single previous Forza game, all 7 of them, and it's not in this one. And this one took the longest to make, 6 years, where the other ones were coming out every 2. People want Gordon Ramsay's. They want to know what's going on.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Where's the sauce for Nürburgers? Let's hear Philness again.
Co-op for games. I love local co-op.
Is there some...
And there he goes with political answer. It's a creative decision, and Phil, but I love co-op. Well, Phil, if you love co-op and you're shouting out Vampire Survivors and split screen, local co-op, then where are you with your own first-party developers saying, I love co-op? Forza needs to have split screen. Like, this is where he gets his political stuff. It's a creative decision, but I love it. Well, Phil, they work for you, these studios. You own them. If you like it so much, then where's your comment to Booty saying, hey, guys, I love split-screen co-op. Why is that not in there? Let's hear.
Some future where you allow developers just to launch on the Series X versus S, because there's the parity clause right now, and I'm curious, will that ever be loosened up a bit?
And he never talks about the parity clause. And the thing is, too, is this exactly what I'm saying? They are not going to ship separately to the X and to the S. They're not going to do it.
Oh.
It's the next console that they will allow it. The X2, they will not. That one will be able to do whatever they want, and then the S and the X will have to be the way it is. And what's going to happen? The S is going to go the same way the Sad Edition went with the Xbox One. It's just going to get forgotten about. It is going to just get like missing features. They're going to give the green light when the new console comes out. The updated one, the green light will be there, and then the S will be left behind, and those people that they're pushing right now to buy it will now be forced to upgrade because Philness got you. He sold you a lemon. He sold you something that has an ending. Just like they cut off the face of the Xbox One X. They shut that thing down because the S was there. They couldn't have the X showing up at 6 teraflops and the S being weaker. The perception will be the One X is better than the Series S. Names are stupid as hell. But that's the thing. They had to kill the One X. So they priced it at $300 and got rid of it because the S was coming. And that was so they get you on this, quote, next-gen console. And meanwhile, they're selling you a lemon. They knew that this thing is not going to carry them. This was a stopgap. And I'm not making stuff up, Froggy. The developers are telling you they cannot make these features because of the S. They said this specifically. They're saying it. I'm not saying it. That's why Dustin is asking him the question, just make a game on the X and not on the S. And he's like, this is regarding split screen. He never answered about the parity clause. Meanwhile, Larian, he's allowing them to ship a game with missing features on the S and the X. They met with Phil Spencer right there. Hot shot. Saved the game. Why is Larian allowed now to ship a game with split screen on an X and not on an S? Is this the start of something, or do you just have to wait to Gamescom to meet Phil Spencer for him to give you the okay? Is that what you need to do now? Because he won't help you on Twitter. When you're asking for help 2 months ago, he won't be there. But if you go meet him in person and he could sign that ass and tattoo you and be part of a conversation about a great game that he should have had the foresight to see that would have been a great game for him to try to get exclusively. But Phil Spencer wants to be a Me Too at the end. What do you got to wait? The Gamescom waiver? Is that what you're waiting for? But there he is. Let's hear him again.
Series X versus S, because there's the parity clause right now, and I'm curious, will that ever be loosened up a bit?
You're my #1 customer.
I want to decouple these issues a little bit.
Yeah.
The decision to do split screen or not is a creative decision, a dev decision.
That's false. The split screen decision is a dev decision. They wanted to see, Larian wanted to put split screen in the S. Their creative decision was to include split screen. So why are you telling us that it's a creative decision? They want it in there, but the hardware was not allowing it to happen. Phil? So it's not a creative decision. They want it in there, and your hardware could not deliver. And your parity clause forced them that they could not launch the game until they got it to work on the S. That's the question. That's the question. It's not a creative decision. Larian wants it in the game. So what are you talking about?
So if we think about like Forza, it has nothing to do with any kind of hardware thing on S and X. Just
Oh, really? Oh, really? What's, you know what? Do I have that Forza, that interview? Because I want to go back to. He says it doesn't have to do with a hardware thing. Well, let me let's reflect and see the Philness here. Let's go, because I did a whole goddamn show about that Forza one, because that was ridiculous. But let's go see. Let's go see the Philness. Let's see. Where is that Forza guy? I got you somewhere here. Where is he? He's right before this. That's him? No, that's not him. Oh, well, we'll play this right now because we got Phil on the screen. And then we'll read the super chats.
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes! Yes!
It's just to launch on the Series X versus S.
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes! 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 Yes!
One more time. That's hilarious.
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes!
That's ridiculous. Not even the game. God damn this guy. I can't, dude. Not even a game.
You're my number one customer.
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes!
Oh my god, I can't stop. It's been some time. I haven't.
Oh, this coffee smells like shit.
It is shit, Austin.
Oh, good, then it's not just me.
I can't find it. I gotta find. Oh, man, I'm just like dying laughing. I haven't heard, dude. I haven't heard that soundbite in 2 weeks.
I'm trying to figure out what was up with the gargling.
Can you gargle my balls? Gargle my balls in your...
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes!
Would you ship that? What you just played?
You're done. You're washed. It's over.
I gotta find this for the Forza. Hold on, I'll find this Forza clip.
You're my number one customer.
What do you guys think about this thing? You think it's Phil Spencer lying? That it's basically not technical issues?
I think that he's not telling the truth in a lot of avenues, and I think he cannot say what needs to be said because it would destroy them.
Yeah, you're right. No, definitely. He can't admit like, hey, dude, this is not happening. Is this the interview here? Hold on. I want to see if this is the interview. Is this the girl that? Yes, here it is. Let me see. Yeah, I found it.
That skip lap during quality featured multi.
A little bit of something.
Always expect to see on this schedule. GT until you using that skip lap during allowed us to remove and attempt to be gaining XP.
Nah, this is not the. Who's this? It was one of these, but he said like due to our engine, due to our focus. Here, this is the freaking thing. Oh, here it is. Found it. Woohoo! Yeah. So let's see what Philness said. I got it here. So Phil says that it's not.
Use a little bit.
Yeah. You're my number one customer.
The decision to do split screen or not is a creative decision, a dev decision.
He brings up Forza.
Very
good. Come on, Phil.
Split screen or not is a creative decision, a dev decision. So if we think about like Forza, it has nothing to do with any kind of hardware thing on S and X. Just where they wanted to focus their time. We obviously see the data.
And that's the thing. And I want to just specify before I get this thing. It's not the capabilities of the machine. Like they got Hellblade running on a Switch, right? And this is something I've always said on this show. I've said that it's not the capability, It's the time that it takes to do it and prioritizations. That's the problem that these devs having. And like what Link said, the S is the smallest and the X is smallest install base. They are like their games are not selling because they're waiting for this Game Pass model. There's all these things stacked against it, and is it worth developer time and effort to get it to run on there? And the problem is that it takes more time because of the weaker hardware. So it's not the hardware is not capable of doing it. It can do it, but it's going to take time. And that time is money.
Well, it can, but there are going to be certain things it can't do.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this thing with the split screen was something where the RAM, I mean, it only has 8 gigs of usable RAM. And it's not going to be enough to run that game in split screen.
Yeah. So let's see what Phil said, and then let's see what this guy said with his excuses.
Yeah, the competitive racing that we wanted to have, unfortunately, means that our spectate mode is not in for launch. Having players come into a featured multiplayer event and taking player slots and then spectating, it's not really the racing that we had intended. Similarly, racing with AI.
So that's not, and I said this in my video, that's not the racing he intended, but not at launch. Well, wait, if you don't intend that type of racing of people jumping in and spectating, and that's not the racing you intend, then why not at launch? Like, again, it makes no sense. Like, is it that you can't do it, or is it that you chose not to do it? Because not at launch means you just don't have enough time to get it there, but it makes it sound like that's not the kind of racing you wanted. So I don't know what it is. You don't want it, or you can't do it in time. Similarly, split screen. Let's hear.
And featured multiplayer, with all its potential impacts on your safety rating, also didn't make a whole lot of sense to have, and is not going to be available for us at launch.
Doesn't make sense to have, not available at launch. Guys, is this is double entendres right here? Like, I just don't understand. It doesn't make sense to have it, not at launch. Well, is it don't make sense to have it in the game because it's not the creative decision, or is it that you don't have enough time because Phil Spencer says he has to get a game out in Game Pass for a quarter? Now let's see a split screen. Phil said not technical. Let's hear.
And since we're on the topic of some legacy features that aren't in at launch, our heavy investment in pushing our new graphical features and our complete overhaul of the rendering engine unfortunately made split screen really difficult to implement. And
there it is. There it is.
Would you ship that? What you just played?
What was that, Phil?
Sign me, please, I will bend over.
True Virgil dancing in the streets right now. What did he just say? What did he just say? Hit me with the falutes. Philness at Gamescom. I told you. What is it? Philness at Gamescom.
Another one.
Told you, Philness at Gamescom. What did he just say? What did he just say? He just said right here.
Really difficult to implement.
Wow.
Unfortunately made split.
Phil says it's not a technical issue.
Creative decision, a dev creative decision to do split screen or not is a creative decision, a dev decision. So if we think about like Forza, it has nothing to do with any kind of hardware thing on S and X, just where they wanted to focus their time.
It has nothing to do with hardware. So this guy then, the Forza guy, says
screen really difficult rendering engine, overhaul of the rendering engine, our complete overhaul of the rendering engine.
A complete overhaul of the rendering engine.
Unfortunately made split screen really difficult to implement.
So wow. That sounds like a hardware issue to me.
And our complete overhaul of the legacy features that aren't in at launch, our heavy investment in pushing our new graphical features.
New graphical features, their investment of new graphical features.
And our complete overhaul of the rendering engine.
Complete overhaul of the rendering engine? Those sound like technical things, right? Because look at what he says next.
Unfortunately made split screen really difficult to implement and is also not going to be in for launch.
Their big overhaul of graphics, their rendering engine made it difficult. Made it difficult. Do I need to be crystal clear? Made it difficult. That sounds like a hardware issue, not a creative choice. Made it difficult to implement split screen. Made it difficult. Their focus on rendering engines, their overhaul of the graphics, made it difficult to implement split screen. But Phil tells you it's a creative decision.
It has nothing to do with any kind of hardware thing on S and X. Just where they wanted to focus their time. We obviously see the data in terms of how.
And we see the data. Well, Phil, the guy says not at launch. So again, it sounds like he wants split screen in the game. I don't know, all of a sudden now you see the data. Well, you want to know what? I think you should go take a look at the MPDs as well while you're looking at the data, Phil, because that thing is selling like dog shit. All right? So when you're looking at the data, don't look at the split screen data. Go look at why the console's selling like dog shit and why you are irrelevant in gaming. That's what you need to, the data that you need to be looking at. We see the data on split screen. So did you just look at the Redfall data? Because I got the Redfall data right here. There's 17 people playing the goddamn game. It's the parents' devs. That's who's there. How am I twisting it, Froggy? Let me know. How I'm putting two videos together, putting it about the two of them. I'm putting two videos together. How is it twisting it? These are two people talking.
So if we think about like Forza, it has nothing to do with any kind of hardware thing on.
Okay. No hardware. Let's see.
We're on the topic of some legacy features that aren't in at launch. Our heavy investment in pushing our new graphical features and our complete overhaul of the rendering engine unfortunately made split screen really difficult to implement and is also not going to be in for launch.
Wow. That doesn't sound like a creative decision. Was 60 frames not at launch for Redfall a creative decision? Was that it? Was that creative, guys? I you know, it's not a technical limitation. Well, the guy used the words made it very difficult. Not that it will take more time for us to do. He said made it difficult. That's what he's talking about. So their new engine and graphics made it difficult. How? You got the most powerful console. Shouldn't work be easier? The reason why they make new consoles is to give developers more power and more tools. So why are we talking about the Series X like it's an old platform? They should be like, we have so much overhead, we put in 4-player split screen. 3 years into a new generation, adding features is making it more difficult. Split screen, which was on the base Xbox. Forza, the base Xbox had friggin' Forza. It's a legacy feature, split screen. It is not something that they're trying to implement now with the more power. How do you tell me that we got the most powerful console in the world in the Series X, and they, because they overhauled their graphics engine, that's their decision, not a my decision. They decided to take 6 years to make Forza. How is it more difficult to implement split screen when you got the most powerful console in the world? And then tell me that it's a creative decision. It sounds like he wants it, but there was
it's not a
difficult.
creative decision.
It's not a creative decision. That's my whole point.
They're saying
it's not
really,
creative.
Like, no, it's not creative. You can look at games and you can tell that, okay, this is a vision and we can't put it here. And those games are a creative decision, they can't, and they don't come to Xbox. Final Fantasy 16 and so forth, other games haven't come to Xbox because they're not willing to compromise. That's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying, and this is where you twist it around. This is where these guys on Twitter, these Xbox fanatics, twist it around. You twist it around to go, well, games could run split screen, so it's not a hardware problem. See, that's where you're wrong, because you can't compare these games. First off, These are first-party Microsoft games. These games should have the advantage in all the goddamn tools. They're the friggin' Home Depots of the Xbox right now. They got all the tools. This is the first party not implementing. This is not no indie dev that has 5 people working at a garage, can't do split screen. This is Forza Tech, the dudes that roll cars right on the streets of E3. This is their first-party studio, unlimited budget. This is Halo, 500 people at 343. They couldn't do split screen Halo. That's a problem. There was 4-player split screen Halo. So this is their first party. This is what you guys don't get. You go, well, the S could run split screen. No. The problem is that he's saying it's a creative decision. He's lying. It's a technical challenge for the developer. Why is it a technical challenge? How is your first party struggling to get features, legacy features at launch? This is not a one-trick pony. This has been happening with all their first party games. This is the problem. The problem is that their first party, look at Halo, the biggest 5 million, all those people in that studio. And they couldn't even get their seasons right. They couldn't get their features right. It took them a year to bring out co-op. Are you kidding me? This is their first party struggling. And if their first party struggling, then what Larian is saying ain't new news to Phil, because he must be hearing it from that dirty-ass booty. That's the problem. The problem is their first party struggling. And let's get to these super chats here. For Larian, because, I saw what they're saying here. Oh, man. The Game Night 123 says Spider-Man 2, web slinging not available at launch. Can you imagine? Yeah, imagine. No web slinging. It'll come later. We did the engine. Web swinging is limited to a couple of buildings. Truth Decay with the 10 Canadian. He goes, kind of looks like big forehead, slightly fatter Bill Murray. The Game Night 123 goes, don't forget Xbox sent their own engineers to help Larian to try and get split screen on the S. So their own engineers couldn't even figure it out. Exactly. And that follows up with Mr. Grimm. Thank you for the 10 as well. And he goes, between having Play PR for Microsoft and not having split screen on Baldur's Gate 3 and the bots calling them lazy devs, this interview was the last straw, so Larian's CEO gave Phil an ultimatum. Mr. Grimm, you're totally right. Calling it creative decisions. Meanwhile, they're calling Larian lazy devs, and all you had to do was meet Phil Spencer at Gamescom, and he would deem you okay to skip that feature on the Xbox. That's what I mean. They sent their engineers. Where were they to give them the ability? They publicly committed that it was due to the parity they couldn't release the game. And Phil decides at Gamescom that they met with him. He goes, yeah, he's the savior now. Dude, is this the biggest L since the Red Ring of Death, says Siru21? Listen, we'll look at the sales. I can tell you probably it is. This is the biggest L. This S is a failed experiment, and that's the topic here. After they removed the Game Pass $1 deal, so you can't play StarField for $1. Phil's making sure he gets his $7 billion back. Enrique Alvarez, the 5, he goes, who decides it's okay, let's upgrade the engine, but those legacy features and modes, let's get rid of them? Exactly. Is it Booty? Who decides that? Phil Spencer. Look at just one more time with this interview right here.
It has nothing to do with any kind of hardware thing on S and X, just where they wanted to focus their time. We obviously see the data in terms of how many people play local co-op.
So he's saying we see the data to how many people play local co-op. So he's telling you that not a lot of people do it, but then goes
number one customer.
And caps for Vampire Survivors going, he loves local co-op. He's all over the place. Political answer.
Games. I love local co-op. Shout out to Vampire Survivors that just launched it. Fantastic. But there's also just let's go where the play is in terms of where we're going to focus our dev resources.
Let's go where the play is. So what they're saying is get this game out for Game Pass. $70, by the way. Get it out. Put it on the thing. And we'll fix it later. Because that's what Game Pass allows us to do. We get that engagement. that click on, and then we string them along with features that should be there at launch, but we offer it later. We call it games as a service, but it's a broken game. And we'll add features to Forza over time. And that's exactly what they're going to do. My problem is, don't do the goddamn interview. Instead of sitting here and crossing your goddamn legs and interviewing and talking bullshit to Dustin Laguerre at Gamescom, you should be back at the studios working your ass off like Herman Holtz and all those other Sony guys and Nintendo guys that you don't see them at every goddamn event putting their face, taking pictures with people, grabbing ass, hugging babies, kissing grandmas. That's the problem. If you have nothing to show game-wise, get your ass out. We don't need to hear you sit here and make excuses because this is the Philness that he's been doing all these years. Wasting time, sitting there. Show us a goddamn game, you clown ass. Show us a game. Show us something you're playing. Show us a new feature of the Xbox. Show us something. Just don't show us your goddamn lying face because that's all you do. Is sit here, legs crossed, talk out your ass, lie your ass off, and then go to proceed to take it on the chin. And say we're sorry. And say all these things like this. Like Phil, right?
I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just
you're my number one customer.
That if we go off and just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, I think doesn't really lay into the rebuild a great Project Scarlet. I want people to feel like they can have amazing console experiences they've never seen before, and that they've got the best lineup of content and services.
By the way, Project Scarlet was Series
X. We're totally
X.
focused on that. And I know we have other things going with like coming to PC and xCloud, but I'll say that being a leader in console is something that the team is committed to doing, and that's we're not building this program to try to aim for second place. Our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, I think doesn't really lay into the reality of most people, like 90% of the people.
Means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do there. We haven't done our best work over the last few years with our first party
games to our platform, because in the end I think the gamers play the games.
Of course they do.
They don't play the studios. They
It's
don't
all
play
the
the
lies.
resolution numbers, right? They play the games, and we want to make sure the best games are there.
There you go. Instead of wasting our time with all this crap, show us games. Show us the stuff you're talking about. And instead of going to Gamescom, doing 30 goddamn interviews, get back there and find out why split screen is not at
You're
launch.
my number one customer.
Why Redfall 60 frames is not there. Why Halo is in its dire states. Why StarField can't be 60 on the X and 30 on the S. Get your ass and work at the developers. Don't come out here and do your PR stuff. Because this is a waste of time, and this is what frustrates me the most, because every single time, we're at Gamescom this year. Heaven forbid they show some goddamn games. No, that just means Phil Spencer will be around to kiss the babies and hug the grandmas. And do interviews and talk, again, lie out his ass. His own developers saying it's difficult to implement split screen, and he's saying it's a creative decision. The shit writes itself. And you don't have to look far for Philness. Maniolus, he goes, "What's up, Jez? So glad True Virgil changed his name to Froggy. How I know it, I could smell those quality balls from a mile away, dude."
Can you goggle my balls? Goggle my balls in your jaw. This is the remix.
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes! 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 Yes!
So, just to wrap up this S thing, it's a failed experiment. This is the remix. So, this Series X, right? I think here, this S was a gamble. the S was a risk from Phil that they wanted to try to do what the Wii did. Be that mass market thing that everybody will buy. And that's what they tried to do with this S. This Series S booster, even though they hyped up power with the X, they really wanted to sell the S. And the S is the thing that they wanted to permeate and carry the brand to reach the people that typically don't buy an Xbox and saturate the market. Well, there was a problem. The problem was a lot of the games were cross-gen. And the games that Phil Spencer and their plan was marketing was that the people who would buy the S are the same people that will stick with their PlayStation 4 and their Xbox One until it's time to upgrade. They're not the early adopters. They're not the people that are going to run out and buy the next console. They're the ones that are going to chill and wait until their current gen console dries up before they move to the next gen. And they mistakenly thought that this customer was going to be the one that cared about the weaker console. And in the same breath, they tried to use mobile gaming to saturate with xCloud. And Phil, under oath, during the FTC, said that mobile gaming did not grow to what they thought it was because people didn't want to play on small screens. People didn't want to play with latency. So the cloud gaming didn't really grow their market. Instead, it just sold to the same Xbox fanatics that are on Twitter. They just sold to their same people, the people that wanted to play their game on the go. It didn't reach a new market. It didn't reach a new player. That's what the S and mobile gaming was supposed to do with cloud. And it didn't work. And one of the reasons why it didn't work is because Microsoft didn't have any compelling games for their ecosystem. Instead, they went 2 years out of the 3 that we have been in this generation with no big compelling first-party games. They launched the consoles with nothing, and then 2022 had nothing except Pentiment. And only had Forza and Halo. And now, finally, since they spent $7 billion, they had a couple of Bethesda games come out this year, and one went face down, ass up in Redfall. So now, StarField is this thing that has to carry the brand, which is not fair to StarField, because I don't think it's going to be that game. And even if it is that game, Microsoft has dug themselves in such a goddamn hole that this game is not going to do it. It's going to be, if this game is 11 out of 10, it's going to need like a year or two of these type of games back to back to back in order to even gain the respect and from the gamers themselves to believe that you're serious in gaming. And that goes along to you trying to buy Activision and divide that thing all up. What you're trying to do there, just buy your way into Call of Duty. Does that really give you incentive to make great games? No, because you're just buying them and putting your name on it. Does that make you want to do that stuff? But the S was failed. And what they didn't realize was that the people, and Phil said it actually right here, and I think this was his realization.
Just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race.
This one right here.
I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games.
And that's the problem. And he realized that this year, that everybody built their digital library and just chilled on it. And then now they're all buying PlayStation 5s. And I can tell you from my experience, Frog, I don't know about you. I think you were getting it as well. But like my brother, there's other people that I know that just like all of a sudden, like, hey, I got a PS5, like out of the blue. Like, oh, wow, I didn't even know you still play games.
A lot, yeah.
And now you're seeing the second, the fourth and third wave, the people that finally stopped, like, going back to their PS4s and going, hey, this thing's old now. Let me go get a PS5. And people are just saying they're getting a PS5. Like, the people that, like, kind of like the people that are not in it. The people that, are, like, don't play that much. They play maybe a couple of games a year. those are the ones that I'm running into that are saying, "Hey, I just got a PS5."
A lot of my friends that are pretty casual, so like the Call of Duty, Madden, those
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
players, when they see that new Modern Warfare commercial and it says PlayStation and it shows the PS5 at the end, in their mind, even though it's on PS4, they show the PS5. So in their mind, they got to get a PS5 now. They're super casual. They don't listen to podcasts like this. They
No
don't,
way. Yeah,
you know, they don't think anything
They have
like they
no
don't think
clue.
anything about it. They have no clue. They're just like, oh, the new Call of Duty's coming out and it's on PS5, so I got to get a PS5. They can stay on their PS4, but a lot of them don't know. So I've been seeing an uptick of people who are like, yo, I got to get a PS5. And I'm like, oh, what made you change? Either A, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, A, they've never owned, like I said, like my son's girlfriend, the families, they've never owned a PlayStation ever. So they're like, wait, this is our first PlayStation. I'm like, why are you getting a PS5? And you know what it is? It's some of the games that they can only get on PlayStation. Specifically, Spider-Man is one of them. Like they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
well,
my son
that
is a
is
huge.
only a PS5, Frog.
Yeah, and so games like that stand out. You know, they stand out. They're doing their thing. You know, like, and then the dad is like, hey, there's this game from this TV show. I found a TV show. We watched it, and it's a game. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, there's a show called Last of Us. We watched it, and he's like, I didn't know there was a game. And so
Twisted
he's
Metal
never
is
owned
another one.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is,
And Gran Turismo movie.
they're getting a whole group of people who may dabble in games here and there, but they didn't know, oh, this is only on PlayStation. Kind of like, like when people say Mario, people associate Mario and Nintendo together, but there's some people who don't know that Spider-Man is only on PlayStation. God of War is only on PlayStation. Gran Turismo came out a movie. I didn't realize this is only on PlayStation. So these things are helping them. These little things are helping them. Whereas, with the Xbox, it's kind of like, well, we know Halo, but Halo's irrelevant. We know Gears, but Gears is irrelevant. What else is there out in the market that's really making a staple to people who don't know what Xbox really is? They just keep saying Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, and like my buddy and his son, the last Xbox console they had was an Xbox 360, and they went from an Xbox 360 to a Switch. They never got a PS4. They never got an Xbox One. And when I asked him why he never got an Xbox One, he said he didn't want a camera. He didn't want that camera. I said, why don't you get a PlayStation? He's like, well, we never had a PlayStation and we had an Xbox, so we just stuck with what Nintendo was doing because we had a Wii. And I was like, oh, so that's all they knew. Now that he's like, oh, I didn't know, that this is only on PlayStation. They got a PS5. They're stuck in that ecosystem.
Well, that's the thing,
because
Frog.
they're like
Spider-Man is going to be the first next gen game. Like,
yep.
Like, because we had Returnal, Ratchet and Clank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were PS5 only games. But again, God of War could have been a big PS5 only game, but they made it cross gen. Same thing with Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man's the big only next gen game, and they got these PS5s in stock. This thing's gonna blow up, and that's the thing.
I think we're done.
Oh yeah, it's around.
We're done. We're done with the first party cross gen. I think we're done with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I did want to touch on this, and then I'm going to do a shout out to the VIP grinders because I forgot to do that. But and then we'll just jump into the sales to close it out. But right here, Phil Spencer doubled down on no need for a mid-gen refresh, and he says that the One S and X mid-gen upgrade to the Series X, he doesn't feel imperative for an updated console. He says, no, we're focused right now on the increased storage on the Series S. Spencer then asked the team about any news for some sort of mid-gen refresh, but no, like I said, we're not kind of at the end of the beginning in my mind. So I think we need to let the devs settle in on this hardware to get the most out of it. And that is a complete... See, the thing is just to go to this S thing, the problem is that the S didn't do the mass saturation that he wanted. Therefore, the S is now an appendix. The S now could be easily dropped off, even though it's the most. Yep. Xbox is selling worse than the previous generation.
Is it the most popular Xbox because of power, or is it the most popular Xbox because of price? It's the most popular Xbox because of price. People don't know they're buying a freaking potato.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
think that they're getting a steak. They think they're getting a steak and a potato, but they're just getting a potato.
Exactly.
They don't realize that.
And the thing is like, see, what you would do is that you would do just like what Sony's doing in that they put the PS5 out there, the early adopters get it, then the waterfall method. Now you put out a slim version or a price that is now lower or more value at $400, where now you start pulling in your third and fourth wave of people, while you now offer a more powerful console for the people that now had the other one for about 4 years and want to upgrade to more powerful. Now that's what you do, but you don't drop the bottom out. Your bottom is your PS5. Where here they launched a weak console, so they bottomed out, and then they launched the most powerful console. The problem is that now you have put yourself in a conundrum, because technically you can't drop the price of the Series X because you got that S appendix sitting right there. So you can't make the X more appealing and drop the price of the X without affecting the S.
Right. And then the other problem is this, Jazz. If Sony decides to say all their consoles are $399 without a disc drive and you can buy it separately, that kind of crushes the competition.
It does.
Because it's now like it's $100 more than an S. Why wouldn't you buy that?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you buy that?
And exactly. And now what they're doing is they even increased the price of the S. They didn't give you the same.
Oh, the black one.
Yeah. They didn't even give you the Xbox S for $300 with more power and give you better value at $300. Instead, they're making you pay $50 more for more memory in the S, which now brings it at that it's $50 difference between the S and the $400 PlayStation.
And the sad thing about it is, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they're banking on people not knowing.
Yeah,
people
the ignorance of the customer. That's exactly
what they have to realize, and this is the most dangerous game they're playing. This thing comes $349. If the rumors are true, and it's all rumors, if Sony has a redesign, they say $399 across the board, which I think that might be a possibility.
And
this is console $399 console. Here you go. This is the standard going forward.
You're my number one customer.
That destroys their competition, because everybody say, well, that's $349, that's $399, and we know it's more powerful. We know they have the games. I'll spend an extra $50 and get the PlayStation, 5 revamp. And I just think that they're playing a dangerous game. They know they can't beat Sony in console sales. They know they can't beat them in game sales. What they're banking on is, hey, our Game Pass will have the games in there. Hopefully, I want StarField to do well. I want StarField to sell well. But I think even if StarField, and my biggest fear is, even if StarField scores well, it just doesn't. They're gonna not talk about the sales unless it sells very well. They're gonna talk about users that went on there, and like I said before, I put in a tweet. When Microsoft bought Bethesda, they broke the market. What they did with the market and Bethesda games is they said, "Hey, the games that people used to like the Starfields, the Fallouts, the Elder Scrolls, we're just gonna make these exclusive to Xbox." And the fucked up thing about it is, and I hate to say it like this, is Sony was going for Starfield. We know this now. They were going for Starfield for timed exclusivity. What would have hurt if Microsoft said, screw it, we'll let them do timed exclusivity, and then we'll get it, and then we'll just buy. No, they just said, you know what, Sony, we're going to buy them outright. We don't care if the game sells or not here. We don't care how well it does here. We just don't want you to have it because it's going to make it better for you. So you're hurting the industry of gamers. That's why people have to understand how acquisitions are bad. You're taking something that when you look at Skyrim sales, right? So I think Skyrim sales are 50 plus million. That's among so many different consoles. They kept re-releasing. My whole thing is you're not going to see that same thing happen with a game like Starfield. That game's going to come out once. It's going to live and breathe on whatever it is, and people are not going to talk about it. They're going to forget about it.
I can't believe that they spent $7 billion on this thing and then bundle it with a console.
It did make. Judge, here's the other thing. You got to think. Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop came out because Sony had exclusive deals, and they came to Xbox. Didn't move a needle. Nobody talked about it. When it came to PlayStation, they scored decent. People talked about it. They came to Xbox at that time exclusive. Nobody talked about it.
Nope.
So my whole thing is this is a good thing for Microsoft that has exclusive. Yeah.
It had all that explosion. Still nobody talked about it.
Right. Nobody talked about it. That's my point. So it's a good thing they had StarField, but you kind of hurt the industry because you have so many Bethesda RPG fans that you could have reached in a bigger limelight, and you could have really made this game that much bigger. But you said we don't care what we got to do, and that's why I go hard on these bullshit fanboys that didn't like Bethesda games, that didn't play Fallout, that didn't play the Elder Scrolls or anything, and they're just worried about the acquisition. What do gamers benefit from this? When Sony is like, hey, we bought Insomniac, and people are like, it's the same thing. It's not, because Insomniac primarily made games on PlayStation, so it's not the same thing. You're talking about a whole publisher developer that made games in multiple places. That hurts the industry. It's not good for the industry. It's very disgusting and it's lazy in a sense. So how can you give credit to one or the other for saying, hey, they got StarField? It's not their creation. This is created way before they bought them. And I just think that at some point, the industry is going to turn in a different way, and you're going to see less. In my personal opinion, what you're going to see in the next, I personally think in the next 10, 15 years, less and less gamers.
Yeah.
Less and less gamers.
Well, I'll show you where the industry is going right now with the GameIndustry.biz article, but let me get Anthony Perez says, I love how Phil uses data as a crutch for his terrible decisions. As it turns out, their data never really helped them, and their human brains are too incompetent to run their studios. Yeah, Anthony Perez, that's a good super chat, because remember, he even used, like, we look at the data when they were talking about the Redfall, when he was taking it on the chin. Remember, he's like, we look at the data and see how many people were playing, and he even used the data, I think, even with split screen on Halo. Like, we look at the data, like, you're right, he uses that data
You're my number one customer.
as a crutch for just, like, the bad decisions. And what's hilarious is that the community is the one that's saying, where is this stuff? And his data is like, well, you guys don't want it. And it's like, but, Phil, what about the data of all the lies that you say, like, all this stuff is happening, and you said that the Redfall update was on track. Like, no update on it at all. You'd sit around and do all these interviews, and I just don't understand why you put yourself out there when you got nothing good to say, and all you do is just damage control
but
and
Jazz,
be hypocrite.
Jazz, the other thing is, and this is what I don't think people are thinking about. Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo weren't in a service. They were just released on this console. They were released with the scores. They still sold decently well, right?
Yeah.
You know, they still saw. I think Deathloop sold, and I don't get me wrong,
reviewed very high. Yeah,
it reviewed very high. I don't think Deathloop deserved the reviews it scored. But what I'll say is, these games scored 7 and above, and they still sold decently. And I always look back and I say, damn, now you have something like StarField come out. It's in your service. It's probably going to be the biggest game of your service. I want it to do well. I'm buying it day one. But my whole problem is, like, how do you, in a sense, reach that market where, you could have sold maybe 20 million copies, or do you really just not care about sales? It's just like, as long as we get those, because guess what? People are going to subscribe to Game Pass for this. They are. Because they're interested. The buzz is going to get around.
They're not doing it for $1. They removed that.
No, they're not. Oh, well, we see what they did. They're smart. And best believe this game hits all the buttons it needs to hit. Best believe the Game Pass is going to go up in price.
Oh, already
best believe
did.
It will.
I'm sure it'll go up again next year.
It's going to go up in price because it's not sustainable. When people say this model is great, best deal in gaming, it's not sustainable to gaming at all. It's not, and I hate when people say it is. It isn't. You can look at the data and you can it's not sustainable. No. They don't really make a lot of money off Game Pass. And just because Microsoft is a $1 trillion company doesn't mean you should just throw your money away. At some point, you got to get smart.
None of their experiments work, Frog. Like, none of the experiments work.
They
like
don't.
The Xbox Mobile, like their cloud, all this stuff doesn't. It didn't grow what they wanted to grow. They thought they were touching even the PC. Like, thought they were touching this untapped market of mobile, this untapped market of cheap-ass gamers, and it didn't amount to that. And we're seeing it right now in the sales data. It just shows that the cheap-ass approach didn't work for them. They went to people that didn't care. And what the problem was is that they went to the people in spite of the people that did care, the people that really wanted to play these games, they sacrificed their experiences and quality to go explore people who didn't even know what an Xbox was or what a Game Pass was and instead they chopped off their nose to spite their face. They said, hey, we're going to go get 2 billion gamers. Who cares about the 33 that buy everything and pay for everything? Because those are the people now that you turned into complacent Game Pass owners who now don't even want to buy your games. And then you're so secretive with your games. You have the biggest game coming out from you since Halo, and you are secretly hiding it behind doors, waiting for like the day it launches to share gameplay without having Todd Howard. And you were at Gamescom not showing gameplay and just showing, not even sharing it with anybody, like behind closed doors. That's the kind of shit you do at E3 a year before the game launches, not a week.
I would have really loved to talk to somebody who is, and I'll be honest with you, I would really love to have a conversation with somebody who is like, they're diehard in the ecosystem of Xbox and not some fanboy bullshit, like how they just see that this is going to progressively get better for them as a gamer. I think
they got a PlayStation and they're playing.
They do have to have a PlayStation.
I can't see you living off
I can't see you just living off of Xbox alone, and that's the only weird place you eat. It'd be like saying, okay, I can eat off the Switch. Yeah, you're going to eat off the Switch, but you're missing a big freaking
unless you just want to like just have like tunnel vision on there. Glinza with the 2, he goes, no mid-gen refresh if you fans are okay with 30 frames per second. Yep. You know what's crazy, Glinza, is that they're fine with 30 frames now for StarField, but the same people will go and killing Redfall, saying it was a first-person shooter, saying how dare they not have 60 frames, but StarField, not one little peep. Meanwhile, all the combat in StarField is shooting. It's all shooting. There's no digging. There's no melee. It is all shooting and jetpacks. And you're telling me that doesn't need to be 60 frames per second. Mm-hmm. Saru again with 21. He goes with the 5. He goes, Bethesda was limping and Xbox killed it. It's ridiculous. But before we get into the Game Biz thing that just came out today, let's get into the club because we haven't seen Herman in a while. Herman Holtz! Thank you again, VIP Grinders. Thank you again for all your contributions, all the super chats, and supporting the VIP Grinding House. And shout out with Herman Holtz and the quality splits. And hopefully we'll be seeing more quality moving forward. Because Sony, again, I have to say, been a little too quiet for me. I want to see the quality. Let's go, Grinders! Thank you again. We're working to that next emoji. But shout out to everybody there. I want to just show the wall and partying with Herman Holtz. The list is huge. We're at 120, I think 120 something. I think we need to get to 150 for the next emoji. It's crazy. But thank you again. The wall of the I said I had to build addendums. I had to build addendums to the Grindhouse, man. It's been wild. So many people. Give me a lot of work to do. I had a lot of typing. But so the last article that came up here, and I know there may be things keep if you're new here, keep it locked here. Subscribe. There may be another Grinds Bite later this week. We'll see how it goes. Talking about some stuff. Who knows? Maybe I even get StarField and I could play it. Ooh. You know what? We'll see, and I'll stream it live, and we'll go through it, and we'll try to explore the planets and find the Philness on one of the planets. But this thing came up, and like Frog was talking about with the future of what gamers want and what people want. This GameIndustry.biz article, and I saw a lot of Xbox guys whining, saying media bias, crying. Sony does acquire Audis. That's where that planar driver stuff comes from. So that's a new sound thing that they're getting. Audis makes those really popular headphones. They're expensive, like $300, but they use planar drivers, which I think I've tried those before. They give you like better distribution of sound. The way
I've heard nothing but good things about them.
Yeah, it gives you the way the drivers are set. It's not like a woofer or like from what I understand, it's more of a it separates the audio better, gives you a wider sound space from what I get. That's why I'm interested in those new headsets. But Audis Or these, everybody, or these nuts. Oh my goodness, this is wild.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness, True Divergent. How's it hanging? Jesus. Oh my goodness.
Man, he said short, scribbled, and to the left.
Oh, this coffee smells like shit.
It is shit.
Oh no!
Oh, good.
We suck again!
So, yeah, so here comes
Where's the lime
game
sauce?
industry talking about what's going on with the sales.
It's raw, Melissa.
Yes, Melissa.
It's raw. Come on.
In the US, the PlayStation 5 is now trending 5% above the PS4 and 87% ahead of PS3 in time aligned in units sold, while Xbox Series trails the Xbox One by 10%, but leads the 360 by 6. So let's look at this article. So this is where they got this big paragraph from. And they're saying, after a period of post-launch constraints, both limited sales potential were causing planners in the industry to pull out significant amounts of hair, while the new hardware was becoming more readily available. PS5 has been particularly strong over the past year, and its supply increasing. And that despite the supply constraints, that paragraph with the 6%. Let me tell you a little story here. This is bad news for Xbox.
Oh no! We suck again!
This is not good because it's behind the Xbox One. And look at the main thing I want everybody to focus on is the time points of these facts, right? The time points. We're 3 years in to these console generations, and this is what the percentage of sales is. So you got to think, where was the 360 in this time period? The 360, a lot of its sales were in the first year because it was the only console in town. The third year was when the PlayStation started coming around to its second year after the horrible launch. And remember, the PlayStation launching a year later wound up catching up to the 360 because 360 sales slowed down with Microsoft focusing more on Kinect and focusing more on casual games. The PS3 came back. But the big thing is that the Xbox One, the worst console, the failed console that Phil Spencer said, I showed a quote, that was a failed generation. 2 Xbox consoles cannot outpace the failed Xbox generation. You imagine, Frog, imagine if the PS4 came out and they were like, guys, 3 years in, we're behind PS3 sales by 10%. What would people say? Comparing it to your worst generation, a failed generation that you stated publicly, it's a failed generation, and your console, not 1, but 2, at 2 different price points, at $500 and $300, 2 consoles, trying 2 different markets, spamming both markets at the same time, is 10% behind the worst generation of Xbox One. Let me tell you another story. It wasn't until Phil Spencer took over that the Kinect came out of the box. So we're looking at Xbox One year 3 when Kinect came out of the box. And you're 10% behind that with 2 consoles. Not a console with a disc drive and not a disc drive. 2 consoles that are $200 apart, and you are behind 10%. I wouldn't be surprised if they break even with the 360 at 6%. And your PlayStation 5, the best selling PlayStation 4 at 130 something million consoles. The PS5, which had supply constraints, is now 5% above Sony's second highest console install base. What's crazy is that that's also including 2 of Sony's biggest games that were on the PS4. That's crazy. 2 of their biggest IPs were cross-gen. How the hell is the PS5 outselling the PS4? And we know that PS4 flew off the shelves. And 87% of the PS3. Craziness. And also the year start, Josh. That was another thing. That did help. Another thing in this article, video game subscription spending plateaus. See all this Philness in these years of 2020 pandemic? Now look, it's been a flat line and dropped. Recently, it says here, growth, blockbuster titles offsetting spending slowed down in mobile, subscription, and add-ons. What did I just say about a half hour ago about the Series S experiment? Phil read the wrong data. And Phil bet wrong. He bet on a future that was not... He bet a future that was only happening now. Those three things was Phil Spencer's focus with the S, with xCloud, even the talk with 5G. It was all these people hyping up subscription gaming, low-cost gaming, low entry, all this stuff. And look, blockbuster titles offset because he bet wrong. Mobile games didn't increase. Subscription gaming has plateaued because people have subscription recoil. They're like, we're done. They're having relapses. Growth in digital full game downloads is the biggest contributor to content performance so far this year. Several prominent new releases have helped drive these gains. We continue to see a shift towards digital premium downloads and away from physical discs. Sales of these blockbuster new releases have offset declines in mobile, as well as slight dip in digital add-on spending. One area that did particularly well through 2020 and 21 was subscriptions because of the pandemic. New service offerings, a limited new release slate due to delays, and customer base with plenty of time regularly resulted in double-digit percentage for subscriptions. And look at the movie industry. Everything is like in theaters, buy a ticket. No more coming to digital. Disney Plus is struggling right now. All these subscription services are struggling. These movies are staying in theaters. They're trying to get the theater crowd back. They are not going day and date in subscriptions. They're not, because that's not where the money is. Those people are casuals. Those people don't spend. Those people wait. They are not spending the money, and they probably will cancel you. Cancel your subscription, I mean. And mobile has flattened off because guess what? Mobile gaming, just like what they said, what the iPad was going to kill consoles. Remember in 2012? The iPad is going to kill consoles. Everybody's going to be playing on iPads, mobile gaming. Pacta is dumbass. There's mobile gaming. Consoles are dead. And all they did was stuck to their guns. Because, listen, you can't deny quality. If you put in the time and effort to deliver a quality movie, a quality game, people will spend the money to see that, especially in a world of subscriptions, of poor quality, bad expectations. What am I getting? Get me later. Here's $5. We'll screw you over later to get the rest of your money. In a world of sly and sneaky Philness dudes manipulating you to get you to buy one more, subscriptions, ads, all this other stuff, when you can finally just spend some money and get something quality. And exactly, Saru, the pandemic gave them all a false sense of success. Yeah, during the pandemic, Phil Spencer was sharing Game Pass subscribers. He hasn't shared them in 2 years now because it all dropped off. And I said it. All this publicity, when people are like, see, the movie's day and date in HBO Max. This is what Phil said. Phil's right. Phil's right. I'm like, guys, it's because of the world that we're in. And what's crazy is that The world stopped for Phil Spencer's vision. Mobile games, digital delivery, subscription gaming, you couldn't go out and buy anything. The consoles were hard to buy. The S was the only thing on shelves. The world, the pandemic was in Phil Spencer's hand. And they could not capitalize on that. The world stopped for Game Pass. The world was able, the S was the only one in stock. The stars aligned for what Phil's vision and Xbox's plan bet was, and they still could not do it. And now, recently, subscription spending has plateaued. U.S. consumer spending on video game subscription service has settled around $400 million per month after first reaching the level in 2021. Subscription fatigue. Fewer available dollars for discretionary spending due to higher food and gas prices. Slow mass marketing adoption of cloud gaming and strong slate of new premium releases may be contributing to factors of slowdown. That's why subscription gaming, as much as we talk about it on here, is meant as a supplementation to quality games. Subscription gaming was never meant to replace great games that we experience, because those great games will be compromised for the service because of the budgets and because of the scope and how they are going to make money on the game. Forza never said, not at launch, not at launch, legacy features, not at launch, until Game Pass came around. And now, the longest time Forza took to be development, we're still hearing. We heard it with Halo, 6 years for Halo, and things weren't ready at launch. Day one guns. Who? 6 years. And a year for polish. What are you talking about? You have more than enough time to deliver that and more.
Yeah, but I think this is the direction they're going. They want that subscription service, no matter if it's going to fail or not. And I think it's going to hurt the industry. I think it eventually will. I think it will.
I think so, and that's why Microsoft changed their whole strategy, just like they did with the cloud, giving it to Ubisoft, selling off with these nuts and all those other guys, black nuts, whatever the hell, all those the studios, all those cloud services. They realize that they can't host their own cloud because they're looking to buy whole-ass publishers, and they can't do that. It's monopolistic behavior. And they're willing now to just offer... Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft in their Ubisoft cloud is going to use Azure servers. And that's how Microsoft is kind of like, hey, we'll give... So Ubisoft will navigate, Activision games on their service, but we will make sure they use Azure to power their cloud, so therefore we make money. That's the sleazy backdoor fill that they want to do. And, hey, that makes money for Microsoft, but for gaming-wise, all the bets, and the crazy is the capping, and all these podcasts and media and influencers all saying about how this is the future, Sony's wrong, Sony doesn't know what they're doing, Sony's going to copy them, blah, 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 blah. No. Look at the sales. Tell me who's wrong again. Tell me who sucks again.
Oh no! We suck again!
And instead of posing for pictures, instead of doing 30,000 interviews, instead of doing all this stuff, just go make great games and deliver it. We don't need to see your face doing interviews. We need you back there flipping over tables. Herman Holst is on his goddamn yacht. Spider-Man's coming out, and I haven't seen Herman Holst since because his ass is working. Somebody's doing their job. Phil must be the other guy. With all your studios in disarray, you shouldn't be over here shaking hands with Digital Foundry. You should be over at Arcane going, where the hell's the update that I took it on the chin in June? I put my face out there for you clowns over here at Arcane, because you couldn't get your shit together and Booty was making too much coffee. Instead, He has plenty of time to do interviews with Xbox One, Xbox the Ocho. He has plenty to do to tour the world. He should be over there flipping tables going, where's the quality that I promised in 2019? Compulsion, 343. Where is the stuff that I promised these fans? Instead, he goes down, takes pictures, and everybody screams his name.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes! Yes! Yes!
The games. Studios he bought in 2018. I just hate the PR, and I hate that everything that they made bad decisions on, that people shoved down our face, said fearmongerer, all this stuff. I told you, because I look at it, Frogs looks at it, Link, everybody who comes on this show, you in the chat, 99% of you, except a couple that are hanging low with True Virgil there, understand that we're speaking at it from gamers' perspective. Games. And as a gamer, as a consumer, all this PR, all this fluff, it's a waste of our time. If you just show us some great StarField gameplay, nobody would say anything. But show people hitting visible walls. Show people glitching and hitting dinosaurs. Show horrible character animations. And then take down all those videos. What are you hiding? This is a $70 game because of quality that you said is costing you money. You better sell it as a $70 game because you are. And you see how StarField is. They're going to drop this thing. People will be streaming it. The capping will
You're my
be
number
insane.
one customer.
Everybody be looking the other way. Watch what happens with Spider-Man. We don't even need to have Spider-Man. Look how Sony marketed all their other games. Look at Final Fantasy 16 just for this year. How many layers they showed, the combat, the travel, the companions, the icon battles, the mission structure, all of it, the story elements, the CGI, the characters, all the fights, like the things. And you were hyped as hell, ready to play. What is StarField? Oh, it's a Bethesda game made by this dude, Aruba driver. It's going off of legacy like Cyberpunk did with CD Projekt Red. Hell, how Redfall did. Frog, remember Redfall? Arcane never fails. It's an Arcane game. No way Redfall's going to be bad. Fallout 76, it's Fallout. How can it fail? Cyberpunk, made by God tier. CD Projekt Red making The Witcher. How can it fail? 343. Bonnie Ross, we heard you. This is the best Halo we ever did on new Slipspace engine. 500 devs, $5 billion or $5 million to make. 6 years of Halo. It can't go wrong. Crackdown, look at the destruction. Who's going to mess that up? Battletoads, we're bringing it back for you. Oops. No online, Dahlia Studios. Oops. Sea of Thieves, 3 fetch quest missions. We'll fix it in a few years. Perfect Dark, getting perfect help. Have you seen any gameplay? I sure as hell haven't. Fable, was it gameplay? Was it not? Will you ever see it again? Nope.
Pretty sad.
You won't.
It's just sad. It's sad across the board because gaming is supposed to be better than this. And I think that ultimately when you look at games like StarField, as much as I want them to be successful, I don't want their failure because when stuff like this fails, you can just see where game is headed. You know, I just feel like you need the industry to be healthy, and buying
Yeah.
up publishers and developers don't help the industry be healthy.
No, they're just slapping a
Especially
name on it.
especially when you're like, oh, it's only here in this console space. PC, people can say, well, it's on PC. Well, that's PC. That's a different market. In the console space, when you're taken away from
Avowed.
the
Oh my god, cartoony. Yeah. Remember Avowed?
yeah, it's just
Oh my god. Remember how that looked, Frog? Somebody brought up
I don't know
Avowed
what
in the chat. Remember how bad that looked? Wait, that's next year's hype machine. Get ready for that one. I got JP Loco here. 10. He goes, why make great games when Xbox fans have proven time and time again they won't support or buy these games? And yeah, that's what Frogs are saying. They're not buying these games. You're right, JP. Like that's the thing. Like, they don't demand better, and instead it's more about the PR with Phil and what he could do for your channel, what he could do, what everybody could do for your Twitter, your acknowledgement, I don't know. I don't know. I really, obviously the hype for this stuff, it's short lived, and that's the other thing. More people to play all these games. They're available. But stuff, the Redfall was available everywhere. There's 17 people playing it. Like, how's that prove that more people to play these games? People don't want to play trash games. But it's more about this. The who I took a picture with, rather than what they're making. And what's funny is that Phil Spencer's first quote when he first started is that his success is not by who he is by what he does. And what's crazy is that that's exactly what it is. It's not about what he does. It's about who he is. Hell, they gave him an award. They made up an award for him, the Green Machine Award. Smuggling Grapes Jeff Keighley gave Philness the Green Machine Award. Wasn't that what it was called? Frog, what was it called?
I think I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's one of those awards.
It was a Green Machine Award.
It felt like more participation. Here's something for you participating. I don't get that award. I don't know, man. I just
it's a Green Machine.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Sea of Stars just came out, right? And the game is reviewing across the board phenomenally.
Yeah, is that now on? It's on Game Pass, but is it on PlayStation too?
Here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jess. Here's the thing. I don't know what comes to Game Pass or not because I usually just buy the games I want. So when a game like this, and for me, and this is just me, and I think there's a lot of gamers like me, but when a game like this or whatever comes to Game Pass, I just know I've been tracking it. I don't know if it's on Game Pass or not. I just know, like, oh man, people are talking about it, and I'm like, it's something I'm interested in playing. I could care less if it's in a subscription service because I'm gonna go buy it, and and not everybody has the money, but it's just the fact of the matter. I'm not looking for what's coming to Game Pass.
It is on PlayStation Plus. I thought so. I thought it was because it was one of their day one games.
It's just like I wouldn't know that. Like I would. No,
but they announced it. They announced it. It's on game. It's on PlayStation Plus. It's part of their subscription. It's a day one game in their subscription.
Oh, I didn't. I would have never known.
Because I remember seeing it on the list because everybody goes, Sony doesn't do day one games, and that game showed up on the day one.
Would have never known.
So
I would have just bought it. See what I'm saying? Like I would have just purchased it because I could care less. Like I heard good things about it from reputable people. I'm like, oh, this is something I'm interested in. I'm not gonna be like, oh man, like I definitely gotta buy it. Definitely gotta get it now because like if it's in a subscription, great. But if I never knew about it, like what is it in the $100 to $120 version?
Oh, I don't know. I gotta
see. I don't even know. See what I'm saying? Like I would.
No, I don't think so. $120. Probably the base version.
But the premium?
Sea of Stars and Moving Out were both day one this month. That's what Moving Out 2, Jeff B. Gaming said.
Never would have known.
But see, that goes to my point, though. It's like, that's why these services, Sony's service, puts pressure on Microsoft because these games that would traditionally and possibly be a Microsoft get, now Sony can match them with their PlayStation Plus. So this puts even more pressure on Microsoft for their exclusive, their first party.
At some
because
point,
Sony's able to get the same game that they're doing.
at some point, don't you think that's bad? Like the industry it can go in a really bad way. You know, we're competing. First, it was like now we're competing publisher developers. Now we're going to compete for who has, you know, the games in their service at this time. I don't know. That's just the most healthy thing. You know, how do developers continuously produce great stuff when we're just like screw supporting them? We're just gonna freaking subscribe to the service, and if it comes in there, that's when we'll play it. If it doesn't, it fails. I just don't. I don't get it.
I don't know. No,
Yeah, and
I'll
I
tell
don't
you,
know if
Aaron.
you-
I'll tell you what's weird is if this award, Xbox wins Green Studio of the Year award. Is this the Captain Planet award? What the hell is this? I never even heard of this award before.
I don't even know. Wait, you said Sea of Stars is in PlayStation Premium?
Plus.
It's a PlayStation
Oh, and then
Plus
like
game.
Saints Row, I think it's coming out next month.
Oh, so it's coming out. So is it next month's game, or I'm confused?
I don't know. I never
Yeah,
heard of
'cause
this
I'm
award.
look-
Is he the first person to win the Green Studio of the Year award? Well, I'm going to tell you right here.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. And
I think Phil deserves this award. I'm going to give his acceptance speech because he is the Green Studio of the Year. You want to know why? Because he's not selling any of the consoles, so he's saving the planet from plastic. There you go. He's not selling shit, so he is the greenest studio because he's not selling anything. It writes itself.
You're done. You're washed.
Xbox has gone green, yeah. Because guess what? They're not selling it to customers. The Green Award goes to Phil Spencer for not selling anything. He's the greenest goddamn company. Xbox is the greenest console. Its carbon footprint is basically zero. Because it's not selling. It's selling less than the Xbox One. Yeah, he's saving the world.
Customer.
He's saving the world from people throwing out Xboxes.
Yeah, I don't.
And
I
he
don't
got,
see
and it's a big zero. It's a big green zero. He knows that number.
You're my number one customer.
He knows the number. Big green zero. Game Night says, I bought Sea of Stars even though it's on PlayStation Plus Extra. I'm playing it now. It's great.
I don't see it.
That's a shout out to Game Night. And then Victory, 5. He goes, Phil dropped the feature parity, but his ass didn't drop price parity. Series S owners getting GIMP versions of games. The lies of Phil continue. That's right. The lies of P. But Phil's winning awards, bitch. You know, why not? You know what? Let's make up an award. It's a big green zero. Give it to Phil. He holds it up there. He says we didn't sell any consoles. He's saving the world. Green Studio of the Year. Who wins it next year? Take bets. Who wins it next? Who wins Green Studio of the Year award next year? Is Phil winning again? Does he sweep? Does Phil sweep next year? Grinders, we need a bet here. Exactly. He's not that green because most of his consoles are in a landfill like ET. Oh my goodness. But Phil's winning awards, bitch. There he is. Winning awards. He took it on the chin. I don't get it, dude. I guess he wins next year too. I don't know who's gonna beat him. Who's gonna beat Phil for the Green Studio Award next year? I don't know. There's a tough competition next year, Frog. Do you think who's gonna beat out? Who's gonna win this award?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
That's right. There he is again. We would like to give the Green Award to Phil because he doesn't sell consoles and reduces the carbon footprint.
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes! 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 Yes!
JB Loco. Jim can't win awards. Oh, goodness. True Virgil. True Virgil, please.
Can you goggle my balls? Goggle. Can you?
end of the line.
Take a look at this. Brutus, this is incredible. What a package.
Hey, True Virgil says that every
You're
day.
my number one customer.
JP Loco says, as Amanda said, Phil won the Green Award for saving energy on making games. Exactly. His scaled back approach, JP. His scaled back, his scoping. You know, the booty scoping that he likes. Matt Booty scoping. He's like, we're going to scope everything down. We're going to turn off the lights. We're not the budget now, reduce everything. Yeah, he's saving the planet right now. Oh, my goodness. Phil Spencer, please.
One of the things I really love about being here is the families that are here. And we see parents with the
family.
Feel.
Means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do there. We have.
Enough from me. We're going to have the games do our talking.
And that's it. Enough. We don't need to hear that stupid ass Gordon Ramsay, Jim Ryan. I don't want to see his stupid old ass walking around. Who needs that Gordon Ramsay ass? He don't give me confidence in the brand. I don't need to see Jim Ryan. Who cares? And Herman Holtz could do forearm buttons. He just says, I big quality. And that's all he says. Listen, Herman Holtz got one word in his vocabulary. Every time I see him, he just goes, quality. That's all he needs to say. He's like a robot.
You're my number one customer.
Herman Holtz is a friggin' robot. That's all he does. You just look at him, he's like, quality. I wouldn't even want to meet him. The first thing he always says, quality games, quality. Gets back on his yacht. That's it. That's all he needs to say. He just walks around the studios saying quality and doing Jean-Claude Van Damme splits and punching people in the nuts that don't do their job. This guy on stage, winning awards, kissing grandma. He's a run for president. You're gonna see him running for some friggin' like he leaves this job, he's going somewhere in the political sense. He's genuine like cocaine. Oh goodness gracious. Oh goodness. Oh my God. Victory came back. He says Phil dropped the feature parity, but his ass didn't drop the price parity. Yep. Thank you, Victory. He said that again.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
Philness. But anyway, grinders. We have broken the doors of the Grindhouse. A record of over just about 400 people, man. It's been awesome. I'm glad to be back, Frogs. I'm glad. Thank you for being on the show again, coming back. Hope you stay safe down there, with that hurricane coming through. And shout out to Link for jumping on. But, man, it has been a wild show. My voice is parched. I'm probably going to get yelled at because I was yelling too much. But the passion was flowing in the Grindhouse. I haven't done this in over a week. It was all pent up from all this crap that I was seeing on the Twitter streets. But we'll be visiting StarField, and I'm going to be playing it. And we'll see. We're going to find the lowdown. Like, you can't hide it long enough. Like, and shout out to Thrash. I've been watching some of his videos, man. Like, he said it. Like, you could hide it as much as you can, but it's going to hit the fan later, like, when it releases. Like, it's done. Dude, and you're gonna have to have modders try to help you fix it. But I'll be getting on PC.
You're my number one customer.
And we'll see. But JP Loco wrapping things coming in here. He goes, Phil Spencer is the closest thing to a friend that these Xbox fanboys have. You know what, JP? Like it is sad. And like again, I'm sure he's a nice person. I'm sure he's great to talk to. He has probably some great insight to games and all that other stuff. But when it becomes more about the person and not what the product that he's selling, that's where there's an issue there. And that's the problem that I have. And I don't like how secretive they are when they have games. Show them, show confidence.
You're my number one customer.
Forza's another one that's hiding. Like, it's another game that's hiding. We've always seen a full-on race from Forza at E3, at these things, and they don't do it. They hide their games and stealth drop them because of Game Pass. And that's the thing that drives me crazy because I knew Game Pass was going to do this. It diluted their whole game lineup, all their games. And one thing too, like he said, people think that this is like every quarter he's going to release a game, and he listed in his interview, well, we did Hi-Fi Rush and Minecraft Legends. We did Minecraft Legends. We did Redfall. You don't have to give us credit for that game, but we did it. And the problem is that he says that they're going to release games every quarter, but he doesn't say the scope of the games and not if they're going to be quality games. But to him, it's just a checkoff that they released a game in a quarter, and that's not good. There's quantity over quality, and quality is the biggest issue that's over there. Forza it's hiding and it's missing features. Forza not at launch, Thrifty. That's exactly what it is. It isn't hiding. But we know more what's not in Forza than just watching a full-on race in Forza. Jesus. Even that was shown behind closed doors. Victory. It says here, he goes with the 5. He goes, Series S owners got to pay for a $500 upgrade so that they don't have to research to see what features they're missing. Exactly, Victory. That's the whole point. It's a dead-end console, man. And he knew it. He took a dump and wrote guarantee on the box. That's what Phil said. He gave you a fancy box and wrote guaranteed on it, and he sold you a piece of trash in that box. He knows that thing has like a lifespan of 3 years, and he's going to move on. But that S experiment went wrong, dude. It went wrong, dude. He thought it was going to saturate the market, and they'll pull like a Wii or a Switch. But you can't do it without games. You can't do it. But he took a dump in a box, put guaranteed on it, and sold it. $300. So we'll see. And StarField we talked about earlier, so sorry cheats for timestamps, but we moved StarField up when we were just going crazy about that one. But probably we'll talk more about it. But yeah, he looked at the data. He said, nobody buys games. Let me go hug grandmas and kiss some babies. That's what he said. But hey, thank you again, Grinders. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. A whole bunch of new people I see in the chat. So subscribe here.
You just made the list.
Join the VIP Grindhouse like True Witty for 16 months. Wrapping up, he goes, welcome back, Jez. I have to watch the replay, but Phil and Todd are more like they both lie and hide features than deserve each other. They do deserve each other. They have they have battles with their nose and how much they lie, and they do sword fights with them. God damn. But my goodness. But thank you. True Way. Be a VIP grinder or keep it locked here. We're doing some shorts. I want to do some more videos, so more stuff coming. Now everybody going back to school. Get back into the swing of things. Summer's over. It's good to go. Yo, Thrash. There's Thrash coming in late, dude. Planets equal planet. Wait. Planets equal plates now.
Oh,
this is Xbox. Yo, shout out to Thrash. Go watch his videos, man. Those were entertaining me when I was driving on my vacation. But yo, Thrash, exactly. It's a snapshot. That's what it is. Like, you land on the planet and it just renders about 10 minutes walking around your vehicle. It auto generates. That's what it does. And then you leave. Like, it is not as dynamic as No Man's Sky. And my thing is with StarField is that StarField had to start where No Man's Sky ended, at least. Same thing went with Halo. Halo had to start where Fortnite and Battle Pass games like Apex Legends ended. But how can StarField, all loading screens, fast travel? Like, I think the exploration part is going to be the most boring part about it because there's no purpose to it. And it's just, there's no risk reward. Procedural goop. Like, yeah. Like, I just feel that there's nothing that, like, what's going on? What's, like, seriously, what's going on? Like, fast travel back to, like, do you, like, waste jetpack fuel? Can you jetpack all over the place? There's no land vehicles. There's no flying vehicles. Like, I was just doing No Man's Sky, and, like, you could fly to the dark side of the planet, and you watch at sunset, and you could land on the light side. Like, it's so dynamic in what it does. Like, StarField should at least be that. And I even see people comparing Star Citizen having those
You're
kind
my
of
number one
elements to
customer.
it, and StarField not having that.
But a lot of people are like, "Oh, you can't really compare Star Citizen and Starfield to this game because this game is different."
Well, yeah,
I don't know. I guess
you
we'll
could compare
see.
No Man's Sky, and I swear I went. I was playing hours of
To a certain extent, yes.
I was
Yeah.
playing No Man's Sky, and the dynamic aspect of that, where you could fly to different parts of the planet, and there's so much life, there's so much stuff going on, and there's so many interesting things, and then you could do terrain forming, and you could go into caves, you could go underwater, you could do all these things. We haven't seen it in StarField. What am I doing? That's right. You land on the planet, Econo, and you go, what am I doing here?
You're my number one customer.
You're going to build a base just for yourself to stand on a base with nothing there. And people they're like, well, it says barren when you scan the planet, so don't land on it if it's barren. It's like, then why even have it then? Are you what are you looking for? And I think it's all fluff. And the reason why it's a problem is because not only No Man's Sky did it, and people wondered what you're going to do in that game, but the fact that people are saying this game is so massive, but if it's so massive, but it doesn't have anything in it, it's empty. That's the problem with it. Wanna the 2, he goes, new Xbox chant, hold the boundary line. Respawn, press X to respawn at ship. You've hit the boundary line. Hold the boundary line. Hold the line. That's right. 900 planets will be barren, exactly. And then if you have planets with animals on it, what do? Do you shoot the animals? Do you ride them? Do you feed them? Do you bring them back on your ship? Or they're just walking around? Really? Oh my God. Thresh says your AI companions are so dumb you cannot stealth play. They always alert enemies. Oh God. You know what's funny is that Pete Hines was interviewing about the AI companions and says oh, they'll get upset if you lockpick. Like some of them have personalities. Like they'll get upset if you lockpick stuff. And people are that's a feature. That was something that's in Fallout 4. Why are you acting like that's new? It's basically the same elements just with a different coat of paint. We will see, dude. And Thresh, I was talking about earlier, it's going to all be exposed. So that's why I said the reviews, I feel like the reviews are going to be very favorable. The reviews are going to be this game can't fail because it can't fail. It has too much of an impact to Microsoft and has too much of an impact to Bethesda. There'll be some places that give it a low score, but a lot of people are going to look the other way and just be it's so massive, they'll fix it in mods. He says NPC characters load in and out of doors. They have no open door animations. They fade away like Skyrim. Oh, Jesus. So they don't walk through doors. They just fade away. That's oh, my God. But it's because they're rendering all those hamburgers in space, Thrash. That's the reason why it's 30 frames. They got the hamburgers on a spaceship. That's why they can't open up doors for the NPCs. True Witty with the 2. He goes, you play No Man's Sky. My mind got blown today. Dude, True Witty, I'm telling you. No Man's Sky, man. And then you can play it in VR, and it's online. Frog was on another planet, and we were trying to fly to the other planet.
Mm-hmm.
That has a whole element of online. You even have the space stations where people are there that are online. You could go on missions with them. I just bought somebody's spaceship. I was just this. Ready? I'm on the planet, on my planet here. It is like a lava planet, right? And it has islands on it. And I shoot up a beacon. And the beacon tells me that there's a star base, a trading post. That trading post randomly generated. I go to the trading post. There's a bunch of aliens there. I start talking to them, and I learn the language, and I learn words in their language. And I get a milestone achievement. So there's a whole language system that you could not understand what they're saying, and then if you talk to them more, you could learn their language and get English translations of it. So I did that with those guys. Then I went to one of them that was just standing by a spaceship, and I offered him money and bought his spaceship. And I could add it to my fleet, or I could just trade in my other one. So I bought his spaceship, and now I got this big-ass spaceship. Then as I was leaving, I started shooting at some spaceships, and it was actually that alien species. So, and then they said your relationship with them now is down because you've been shooting at us. All that happened dynamically. That's what StarField's getting credit for. But No Man's Sky, you could fly off the planet, you could fly to the other side. And actually, what's crazy is that if there is something on the other side of the planet, if you stay on the surface of the planet and fly there, it will take you much longer than if you fly into space in the atmosphere and boost around the planet. You get there faster. So how you traverse the planet, whether in space outside the atmosphere or on ground, depends on how far away it is, like in real life. Like, you fly outside and around the planet, you get there faster than if you just stay there. But, like, there's just so many aspects of No Man's Sky that StarField should have implemented at least. They had all the time, 25 goddamn years. And we're filled in load screens and it looks like a Fallout mod. Even the guy, like the animation of the guy getting out of the spaceship and walking out, he clips through the wall. Weird. No VAT system. I love the VAT system in Fallout. But we'll see. It's getting late. And I got a parade to go to. No. Let me put my line. My where is this? Where's Arnold? What did he say? Oh man, I forgot it now. I didn't have it. But anyway.
It's turbo time.
There it is. It's turbo time.
Get your mother, please.
There it is.
It's getting late. I got a parade to go to. And I've yet to see a sign of this supposed Turboman doll.
Dude, we'll get ready. Hit the like button, grinders. Subscribe if you're new. Join with the VIP Grindhouse. Keep it locked here. We got plenty more Grinds Bites, Gaming Grindhouse on Monday nights. And shout out to Thrash jumping in the chat and Frogs coming on the show and Link. Follow them over at their Twitters. And I want to thank everybody again for a great show. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the VIPs. And just thank you for just hanging out in the chat and grinding away. And with that...
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
We're going to be doing a lot of those.
Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate.
And
activate.
StarField
Activate.
and Forza brought to you by yours truly.
Oh, and second us too. New games are coming fast. 20s, and they're all
Oh, yeah.